right. Well, hello everybody. It's Francisco here for I guess it's still called Sports Goofs or Goofs 2.0. I have no idea. But it is a 2.0 because we've got some new digs here. I'm joined by my good buddy Charles. Andrew is on his way. He's gonna come up here. But we got some new looks, some new digs here, a new studio that I've created here, a virtual studio. And a couple new costumes for ourselves is me. That's me. And then I got Charles here. He's in beautiful 3D now. So, quad in 3D. you know. And then, we've got the studio. It's underwater now to kind of go with the whole nautical theme. Bunch of tentacles everywhere. And, my a little kinky for some people as well with all the tentacles. So that's cool. And yeah. So, man, it's been a while since we've done this show, and a lot has happened in the last, 3-4 months, I think, something like that. And there's a lot to talk about, and this is a Sports Goofs in name. We'll talk about sports, obviously, because it's like one of the things that connects us, but we'll also really hunker down on some other things, some other overall entertainment things going on in life, opinions, generals, memes, what have you that comes to mind. So, this is really an episode that's what have we done over the summer? It's like back to school, right? What have you done over the course of the summer? And a lot of thought. Gosh, man, I moved. I left Miami finally, Charles. Ah, yeah. Haku summer kind of fell apart on me towards the last month there because I stopped working out and I was just trying to get the hell out of Miami, which I did, and now I'm back in my hometown now, and new work, more money, little easier on the mind and the heart, so that's cool, and got the new digs as well with regards to the whole setup in my actual physical studio. I have an actual that's a big thing. I've got a physical studio now, Charles, an actual real one. Oh yeah. So yeah, that's true. I haven't done one yet. So uh, yeah, the studio is great. Sheesh, and I got a new webcam. The mic is still the same, except now it's hanging from the top because I have a real desk now, and got sound panels back here. Got the gaming PC running the whole thing. My lights are all set up. My green screen's behind there, but this is a virtual show, so I don't have the camera on. I might do that. I was thinking about it in the future, just have my face inside this Sonic the Hedgehog John here. But I've got the streaming setup as well because I'm back to streaming again, Charles. So it's been a while since I've done that. I'm also, my nephew is getting into this too because we've been streaming Minecraft from this studio over the course of the last 3-4 weeks now. So, and I've started the corruption with him. Yeah, there's a lot of things that's happened, but can we like sprinkle non-sponsors over the course of this show as we go along? We don't have to have one segment for it. Yeah, yeah. Can find nice segues to this because I got a few non-sponsors over the course of the summer, but I really want to give a non-sponsor to this beautiful screen that I have in front of me, and I'm gonna head on over to the screen here, and to show you all. Let me head to probably Charles's favorite website, or one of his. Best Buy. Let's go to Best Buy, Charles, because that's where I got this. That's where I got this beautiful actual gaming PC monitor. All right. So Yeah. I left Miami and I left everything behind as far as my furniture was concerned, and that included the TV. Now, the TV that I had was one of those Amazon Fire TVs. It was 4K. It was it was fine for what it was, but there were some, as Charles would say, there were some deficiencies with regards to that, and he he's been suggesting it for quite a while that I needed to upgrade my setup, given the fact that yes, I do have a gaming PC and I could be taking advantage of so much more with the power. I got the graphics card and everything upgraded this year. More RAM, all that stuff, and yet I was still behind as far as all of the visuals was concerned. So now I finally have the opportunity to do something about it. So I was in a quandary, Charles. So in a quandary, I'm like, man, I really would like a new screen for my PC, and then lo and behold, it's like, okay, let's finally bite the bullet. Let's go for it. Let's buy an actual PC gaming monitor. This thing still says I'm in Miami. I'm not in Miami no more. I've left. But anyways, actual PC gaming monitor, and I got mine from Alienware, Charles. Speaking of a company that's actually based in Miami, if you didn't know. Yeah, they are. That's where they were founded and everything. Now they're owned by Dell. So, but they still run operations out of Miami. So I guess supporting local businesses, if you want to call it that. So it was just a matter of, man, which monitor do I go with, Charles? Which one, huh? So I went with this Alienware 34-inch Quantum Dot OLED. OLED, Charles. OLED. Something that you have been harping on for like the last... When'd you get Ramona? Wow. Yeah. OLED, 165 hertz. You know, AMD FreeSync Premium Pro, HDMI USB. Dark Side of the Moon. It's fantastic. It's curved, wide, so I have an ultra wide screen, and man, this and it has some setups here that you can kind of mess around with the LEDs here, put them whatever color you want. You can have them also change colors depending on the game that you're playing as well. So it kind of it mixes well with my already set. I already have the LED smart lights already, so it mixes well with the entire setup there. It has its own diagnostics that it runs that allow it, because that's the thing with the OLEDs, right? Is the burn-in rate. So you don't want to leave these things on a certain screen for a long time, so it'll do it automatically and be like, oh, let's refresh and set this so that it can keep itself as crystal clear and perfect without any sort of screen burn in possible. So I've got it set up so it does routine maintenance when I'm not playing, overnight on standby, so that it can remain as beautiful and crystal clear as I've had it since I've opened this, Charles. I I had to see it to believe it. And you pop in Alan Wake 2 and you turn on the refresh rate. And that's yeah, refresh rate. Those frames per second, the frames per second, they do matter. 30 frames per second in 2024, it's not a good look. It's not a good look at all. But 60 FPS, okay. that's the standard. That was the gold standard for many years. But you can go beyond. You can go to a level of smoothness and fidelity that you didn't even believe was possible with your own eyes. And look, I just got 165 one. There's 240s out there, right? But I remained humble. I remained humble. Mm. Yep. Yeah.
But I've thought about it, man. And then I'm like, pay $2,000 on something? When it
Yeah.
was like the 240 refresh rate.
Yeah. So, gosh, it's been it's been a revelation since I've gotten this thing, and I mean, I've just been playing at all ranges, all manner of ranges of games, just trying to see what everything looked like. You know, I've sent you screenshots of the fact that now I can take ultra wide screenshots, and I've shown you Alan Wake with an ultra wide resolution. You know, 21 by 9, not 16 by 9, writing five
And a
more.
game,
You know,
for those who don't know, that's actually very like packed in the levels. And it's open
yeah,
world is fairness, so that's when it would be applicable.
yeah,
So he's not trying this out with anything that's just practice or rookie mode. I would say I think that was probably the perfect game to start with, just because one, Sam Lake and Remedy Games
mm,
have created something that is really next gen. And we say that even though we've been the next gen for the last couple of years, but it is truly, I feel, one of the games that's the trendsetter of next gen. The graphics, the visuals, the way it's designed, and when you see the seamlessness of their FMVs, perfect choice. The red when you're in the dark place,
hmm
the sound effects. I know you have your own speakers, so it comes from there. But the character models, I imagine the character models just look so good.
yeah, yeah. The lighting, because
I love my little guacamole guy,
yeah,
my Juan. It's just so perfect. I'm staring at him.
yeah, yeah. So it's
And the Macho Man Randy Savage. I love you so much for this.
it's been, man, it's I've been playing Mario Superstar Baseball with my dad, and like every game is just benefiting from this. Just even like the retro games, just the colors alone benefited from it. Like I have HDR on right now, and it's just gorgeous. It's just beautiful.
And for people to need to understand, no, the monitor itself would not like upscale. That's up to your console, but it's still going to sharpen because it's output with the monitor itself.
Yeah,
So it's going to look good, man.
yeah, yeah. And I've actually upgraded the output of our show because of it. Because we're in 2K right now. Because I just couldn't, like, I was trying, this was under 1080p before, and
It's ugly.
as I was
Ugly.
editing it, I'm like, man, I cannot see any details, like all these little things that I put on the desk. I mean, I really want people to see those little knickknacks, so I upgraded that too. So this is 2K at the very least, and um, you know, so far the gaming PC's just been handling it beautifully, and man. So yeah, Alienware, right? I think some people have some criticisms as to their actual PCs, but this screen, I cannot find a fault. There's so many other features. I haven't even talked about all the features this thing has. So it does have you can connect it to your PC, and it'll actually add some extra USB ports that it has underneath. You can has HDMI, obviously. It has DisplayPort, which is what I'm using, which is when you get that's how you get those extra that's how you get the extra frames per second on this thing. And DisplayPort is actually better than HDMI as far as the video signal is concerned. It's just a video signal. That's why it doesn't pair video and audio.
And it's
Like,
going to be perfect for you too because you don't have a console, so I can educate to the masses here.
hmm,
My PlayStation 5, if I ever got the Xbox, I think about it every now and then. I need an HDMI 2.0 cable to
yeah,
kind of match that. If I don't have it, then it's just it's eh
yeah,
eh.
yeah, yeah. And so I have DisplayPort on right now. I've got the USB set up now. It's got obviously you can put digital audio if you want to add, hook this up to a soundbar if I needed to. Has the ability to connect multiple monitors as well. I was thinking of getting like a little side monitor, Charles, as well, just to have something there on my
You
right side because my game
you a
PC's on
greedy
my.
hoe. You a greedy hoe. You got a hit. Now you need more.
Oh yeah,
Because
yeah.
now you're going to be double
I want
monitoring
one of
it.
those like those
It might
vertical.
justify.
I want like just like a regular monitor, but just vertical, just like a vertical one on the side with a touchscreen.
And this is
Just
why
for
I never did PC because I would be you who wants, I would do.
probably, yeah, probably, yeah. So yeah, gosh, this Alienware PC, Charles, you converted me. I am Anakin, right? You're Palpatine. You've turned me over. I've completely changed, and I'm ready to embrace this side of the dark side. Rip James Earl Jones as well, right? There's a segue there.
Yep.
So, R.I.P. to him. But man, I can't go back after this. There's no way.
It's so tough. I remember like I went to I've been with Ramona for a long time, but there was like one time I was over like one of my friends' house and they would just have like a typical like 1080p that they were playing their PS5 on. And I'm not judging them, but they had the capacity to at least get a standard 4K.
Right.
4K televisions are actually cheap now, and I will
Yep.
tell you that you can find the appropriate one if it's a 4K that doesn't have to be OLED to get it. But I was like looking at them like my eyes, they bleed. I became the Grey Poupon guy. I was the guy who's like, oh, do you want water? I'm like, I would like sparkling water, but technology equivalent.
Yeah. I mean, this is once you've got one, you're never going back. And I honestly would, if you do have the capacity to buy one of these, if you're on the fence, whether you're a console or a PC owner, get it. Like this was $700. It was my first big purchase that I got when I moved, since I didn't have a screen, and definitely, especially also a big purchase right with my new paycheck because I started a new job. So yeah, it was definitely well deserved, I guess, on my end, and this is sheesh. Have you seen those videos of like the guy like at GameStop? He's buying a PS5 that he's been like saving up for like months and months,
Crying.
and then the bro cashier like hops over the counter and gives the man a hug.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that's that moment.
Yeah.
That's how I felt when I saw that you got it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
I did feel like you guys laughed at me when I first got Ramona. I know Andrew. Andrew is a humble human being. Andrew is a humble person, and the whole thing is
we're trying now that his life has changed.
Yeah, but like the whole thing is like, geez, Charles, I thought a television was regular. Like, you don't understand, Andrew. I need this more than you ever know because I had a friend who has an OLED in the soundbar and everything of that nature. But when I got it, I was like, all right, I'm not going out tonight. I think I took the day off or like the half day. I had like vacation.
Wait, did you get it in tandem with like a game? Release? Like a game release?
Remember, I needed the OLED for the purchase of the PS5 because what I have been doing is using the PS5 in the entertainment room for the regular 4K that we have. But it was, I think, getting a preparation for God of War.
Yeah, Ragnarok.
It was needed for God of War because my Ramona came in March because I called it Ramona because that's when Scott Hall died. Like literally the day he died, I had already ordered it, and then I found out he died. I'm like, Ramona, that's perfect. So it was for the purpose of like God of War 2 and then Spider-Man 2 and everything of that nature, which was the right decision for me to make. But the first two games I played because of the stylistic ways that they're done, and I need it, was one, Tony Hawk Pro Skater
Hmm.
remaster or remake, whatever you call
Yeah.
it, that has 1 and 2. Fantastic. Just a great game. I can still play it now if I wanted to. And then Dragon Ball Fighters for the cell shading. That was on my PS5, played onto my PS, or bought on the PS4, played on my PS5. Because the cell shading, side note, super excited for Dragon Ball Sparking Zero. But like, I want to see that artistic stuff. And I've always been there. Like, when I buy games, and the hard part is, even when you send through like the PlayStation app, when I send you stuff on Cyberpunk, or when you send me stuff from Alan Wake, if your phone doesn't make an output to that level, it's just going to be at whatever the capacity output
True.
of the thing
Yeah,
is.
we both have iPhones, right? So we can see it.
So, but that's the thing. I was like, look at this shit, 3. I'm like, look at it. So it matters, guys. You want to know why it matters? Because you can go and have, the 64-bit is the era I hated most. I always have that conversation when we talk about it, we reflect. I appreciate it for the games they have, but it's blocking it's ugly. Yeah. And it's not the whole, I get a facial scanning of somebody, but, like, oh, hey, it's this character, this actor looking like this character in real life. Yeah, it's fine. It's games like, and we mentioned it, God of War, that I can see Jormungandr. Yeah, Jormungandr. I was right about it, I think. The Serpent of the World, and how that looks with the scales and everything, really kind of coveting the imagination, because the brain is a beautiful canvas that is blank. And if you've read books, or if you have imagination and all that stuff, how you portray and paint it, and you want to see everything in Technicolor, man. Yeah. And so that's why the progressions of it, we can talk about fidelity, and we can talk about performance and
industry. And also lag, like the lag as well. Response time. I don't know if anybody's played, with video game controllers, like that matters.
I'm telling you right now, Ramona, she can go up to, if I have VRR support, she can go up to 120 FPS on select games. The day I put on Call of Duty Black Ops Cold War, that was playing on 120 FPS, I think I killed more people. I had a 60 FPS jump. I'm not lying. Mm-hmm. Some of that matters, because you're talking about internet stutter, everything of that nature. So, and I always have VR on, man, supported or unsupported. Because unsupported, it just dips by a frame rate. I can live with that.
If you're into competitive gaming, right, or you just want to, play, competitive game, multi, online, and try and at least be decent at it, then it does matter. You know me, with Rocket League.
Yeah.
Okay, I've been playing the best Rocket League that I've ever played. I'm at Diamond rank right now, Charles. Jesus. And I've held there. I've held at Diamond rank. Like, before I would just break at Diamond rank, and then I just get completely bodied back down to Platinum rank, right? But now I'm staying at Diamond rank, and I honestly do feel that going up 105 frames higher has supremely upped my game. And I would hope, Nintendo, if please, now I'm on the same boat as you. Even if the new Switch is a 1080p console, please at least let it have higher frame rates.
I would bust.
Because, if it's a consistent, always 1080p, given what Nintendo does, or 2K 60, or 1080p 120, I would accept.
All I need is 1440. All I need is 1440.
Yeah, 2K 1440.
1440. Yeah. 1440 with 60 FPS, done. I wouldn't know what to do with myself.
Yeah. Splatoon 4.
The platforming would. Splatoon 4, brother.
Mario Kart 9.
Back. I'm gonna throw one at you.
Smash Brother Extreme, whatever. Yeah, F-Zero. Yeah. They could do that could be a showcase game for the first time.
Yeah.
Like F-Zero at 120 frames.
Or if we ever got a Star Fox, just saying, because it's the FPS
with an
matters,
actual
guys. We're gonna give you an education. It doesn't matter a frame rate. Sometimes it's about background and what you could do on the screen and how it processes and how smooth it could be.
Speaking of, you wanna get into this conversation about the PS5 Pro? I mean, it's a good segue. Fine. So Alienware I don't even, I forgot the model. They've got so many different ones, and mine is like AW blah 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 blah, a bunch of numbers, a promo code. I'm a bust.
I'm a bust.
Yeah, because I couldn't, like, I was watching the Batman, right,
Awesome.
and I love the Batman. I really do like that movie a lot, and I get the actual wide, like ultra wide version of the movie instead of it, with the borders on a regular 16 by 9. It's making me think of purchasing an ultra, an ultra, a 4K ultra Blu-ray player just for that alone, and getting physical movies again, and doing the Frankly Frank stuff again, Charles.
Hmm.
All right, so yeah, that was the screen. Great talk. We news coming out, right? The PlayStation 5 Pro. It's been announced. They've got a video for it, and I have mixed feelings about it, Charles. I don't know about you. You have a PS5. I don't. I wouldn't. It'd be less than redundant for me, actually, to be honest. But what are your actual initial thoughts on the system itself?
I'm excited for it. And I
Really?
don't think anybody was expecting an answer because I had a buddy who was like, Charles, I need you to go and order this in case I can't get it and stuff like that. I don't know if you're gonna buy it or not. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. That's how I'm gonna start this conversation. I'm not buying it. I don't need to buy it. I didn't buy the PS4 Pro upgrade. I wouldn't do that with the PS5 Pro. I knew what I was getting myself into. Am I resigned to the fact that most of the time the output that I'm gonna get from games is 1440 with 60 FPS? Yeah, I'm resigned to that fact.
Mm.
I understand that because it was a middle generation jump. But let me tell you why I'm excited for. First off, Twitter people, online people, I know you guys hate the price. You could just choose not to buy it. This is going to make money. Do I think it's like terrible in the price? In theory, it can be. 700 plus you have to buy the disk drive to attach to it.
Right. If you want to play the
But
games that you already own.
ideally, what you guys got to remember is that a PlayStation, or the way that both Xbox and Sony want to view the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox X, is like it's an entertainment center. PlayStation wants to do it more on the gaming and stuff. Xbox console wants to be like everywhere. PC stuff can be an entertainment center, but there's different restrictions it kind of has to be. You can put a PlayStation in a family room. You don't have a computer in the family room. You know what I mean?
Mm.
Some do. That's great. I
Yeah.
wish I had that
I
money.
mean, it's
But
it's it's possible, but you really know. Not that you really have to know what you're doing, but you have to be at least more than casual about it.
yeah, and the whole thing is that the driving of a exclusive in the consoles, would it be any of the big three, is to have your own exclusivities or games made for you. I let them buy it if they want to. It like me trading in my stuff. Oh, I see Returnal in the background.
Yeah.
Me trading my. I
Control
was
as
thinking
well.
about. Yeah, beautiful, beautiful games. I'm not going to trade mine in for just 200 to get something upgrade because I paid 500 for mine. So I'm just going to keep to it. Um, the price is the price, and that's the reality because it's like cars, guys. You're not going to get cars that are just 10 grand anymore off the bat. We have to accept that this is new norm for the bells and whistles. But the truth is, the game console is not. This console is not really. We have. I know this sounds offensive, and if you're offended, deal with it. We have main character syndrome sometimes, and we think the idea is that this is doing being issued against the prospect of what we want or what we need. So what you need to realize is that Sony's putting in for the people who don't have a PlayStation 5. Not everybody has one. Not everybody's of that age to get one or hasn't contemplated getting into it. Sometimes they just don't want to. They don't like the selections, or they're just pure Nintendo boy. You're a pure Nintendo boy. Let's say you never got PC.
Yeah.
You
I
might be
mean,
that
yeah.
person.
Yeah.
And there's going to be a selection of people who want to
And
upgrade for it because they're tech heads. But
yeah.
it's not Sony's fault for making something expensive that can really work at its best fidelity and graphics with an OLED. That's because of time and the technology. But it's geared to people who have never don't own a PS5 or were on the fence because they knew the PS5 Pro was coming, which the writing was on the wall that it was eventually coming because what they did and what Xbox did with the last generation. They
I
said,
don't think a
hey,
lot of people realize we are in year 4 of this console.
yeah, And the console itself is going to be 10-year cycle, where they go and say you have the halfway generation upgrade, or which catches up with the technology of sound bars and TVs,
Yeah.
or you can just keep to it. But you should have known something like this was going to happen when Sony and Microsoft made the mid-generation consoles last time. So it was expected. So it was your conscious decision not to. Is it consumer friendly? No, but no one's asking you to buy it. If you really wanted it, you buy it. You trade it in, you go from there. That's sometimes how it goes. But it was geared to the people who want it, whether it be a first time, not first time buyer, but they're just going to upgrade. And I'm not buying it, but let me tell you why I'm excited for it. Because here's a known truth. A lot of the games that are being made for the PlayStation 5, Horizon Forbidden West, God of War Ragnarok, Spider-Man 2. Actually, I don't think it was Spider-Man 2, but it could have been. And other games, a lot of the sport games, Call of Duty games, stuff like that, their builds are actually for the PlayStation 4. And then they just kind of did some soups and nuts to upgrade to make it work for the PS5. You see Last of Us. God knows that's coming to every generation. The prospect is a year from now, the games that are probably going to be designed for the PS5 Pro are going to be rendered at what they should be doing at the regular PS5 level. Does that make sense? So I'm not going to get something that's just getting kind of like dynamic scaling. And for those who you don't know, it's the capacity of the game, the console, to render some picturing. I'm going to give native 4K, or as close to native 4K as I can get.
I think
And
to that point, a lot of people are just now getting these consoles.
Yeah.
Some have made the jump because new college football game came out, right? A lot of people did, because Madden and you know, NHL and NBA 2K and soccer, whatever they're calling that now, all were still on the old consoles. Even, you know, Call of Duty, like the yearly stuff too, as well, right?
There's always a cross-gen bundle when you think about it. There's a cross-gen Madden, there's a cross-gen
Assassin's Creed, like all of those, the mainstream like third-party games that you know are always coming out every year, every other year, right?
And folks, you can't you're not going to make two separate builds because that's going to cost you money. So really, what you're probably doing
and
is
they
just
did that for like the first 3 years now, because one, those consoles were already, Wayne Merck says it too, we're like in a recession period, right? And then 3, like so many people were still on the old consoles at this point. But now you're finally seeing people who have saved up enough to kind of bite the bullet and make the jump to the new stuff. There's more bundles now. There's more games now. So games are cheaper as well from the initial time period. And I think developers are finally seeing like, okay, enough people have made the jump. You know, PC games have also already like at a point where like, okay, they're ready to move ahead. That it's justifiable now to just exclusively develop for
these consoles.
For these actual. So we may, I think, I mean, we've already seen some great PS5 exclusives, right? Some great PS5 exclusives because, you know, Sony actually makes exclusive games and Microsoft doesn't.
This year's been quiet, but I did buy Astro Boy or bot, so
yeah, but they kind of they were really hitting it the first 2-3 years, right? So
but
now
they had cross-gen builds,
and I think they really were. I mean, this year, I mean, that's probably why they were making this PS5, so they're getting ready for the next wave, right? Of like the next, let's say 3 more years ish, that we'll say for the PS5 going forward, because we know GTA 6, right? That's like the end all be all at the end of it, but we know Sony's gonna have probably a Spider-Man 3 in there, right? And some other stuff. So yeah, now it's time for something new, and I get it. Like for me, once again, I'm not getting it because I don't really see the need to with what
it would be redundant.
Redundant. Sony's putting stuff on PC now that I can actually
and
play.
You already have a console that will be for the family, for your nephew and nieces,
right?
With, you know, presumably Nintendo. The Switch 2.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and that's what I'm really saving for next year, right? And you're about to put GameStop out of business, because I don't know if you've seen some reports, but they're not doing well. So
it's fine. They just got last November 2025. They got the retro companies now, though.
Yeah, that's true. They're coming back with actual like selling retro games again, which I don't know how long that's gonna last, given that Sony's literally selling a PS5 that has no disc tray. So with the Pro,
That's brilliant strategy though. That's like going to a restaurant and ordering the food, but you have to pay extra for the utensils. And people complain about it, but it really also goes to show physical media is not dead, and the need for backward compatibility.
Tis true. Also, it's like
you guys hate it, but this is how businesses think.
And
it's to maximize profits, man.
It's the same thought that I just had the reverse thought of that, right? Like, yeah, I watched the Batman on Max with into 4K, right? But it was streaming, ultra wide and everything. But I could still see the artifacts. But I know if I had gotten the actual 4K ultra Blu-ray edition of that I wouldn't have gotten those artifacts, and it made me think like, do I pay a premium just because I can to get physical copy of that movie and enjoy movies in that sort of sense, like as an aficionado, which is really what this PS5 is going to be for at the beginning, is for the aficionados, because eventually, like with the PS4 Pro, that became the main PS4.
I didn't even see the difference with it. That's why I never had the incentivization to get one.
Yeah, but like for anybody who's getting like right now,
because 4K TVs were hard to get back then. Because PS4 came out 2013.
Yeah, 20. Because the Wii U came out 2012, and the other two came out 2013. Yeah.
So not the same, kids. But I'm already in the winning. It's a residual benefit because I'm in the winning side because I have the television of up capacity, and some people are like, yeah, but
I forgot this is Zelda game coming out.
Like
Holy
that.
Crap. That's right, the Zelda game.
Echoes of Wisdom, baby.
Yeah, when is that coming out? I forgot when.
So 2 weeks from now, September 26th.
Holy shit, that's one.
So when I found out. Yeah, so it's meant to be. So when I found out that I could use pre-order or gift certificates on pre-orders from Best Buy, the game changed. The game changed completely. And I was thinking about Echoes of Wisdom, but my backlog on the Switch is kind of big. I was like, well, I heard great things about this game. I'm going to go Astrobot and say I got a game day one for free.
I might speed up my Alan Wake final draft playthrough then. Yeah. Sheesh. My God. Because the PS5 video just rolled into the trailer for or the final preview.
Have you watched the final Have you watched any of the gameplays of it?
No, not really. I'm just looking at it now. It's like the first time I'm seeing it. I've been avoiding a lot of gaming news for like a while because I've just been in life mode so far. And the Panthers won the cup. So, and that's another thing that happened over the summer. The Panthers won the cup, and we haven't even talked about it. But yeah, Zelda.
The year of Francisco came back.
Yeah. It looked like it was the year of the Charles Part deux for quite a bit.
And it's a long year, man. I'm going to Bad Blood. That's happening.
That is true. That is true. And Aaron Boone could still get fired as well.
Remember, I win either way. Yankees win the World Series or Aaron Boone gets fired. So it could be a collective year of the Goon.
Aaron Judge hits 60 again.
And
then hits nothing for the
what people
3-game
need to know
division series sweep.
In the group chat, every time Francisco or Andrew would send me something about Aaron Judge, we hit a home run during the 4-month break that we had, right? So something I always just go and say mid. Because I'm sick of him being exceptional in the post or in the regular season. Yeah, I need him to be exceptional in the playoffs. Y'all can ride Ohtani's dick as long as you want. 7, 6, 5. Y'all can ride it as long as you want, but then it's going to change because now he's on a playoff team. And he's going to lose the same sense of value the way that Judge, to a degree, has lost value because every time he goes playoffs, it's a low number. Unless Ohtani steps up. And he might. I don't know. He never went to the playoffs with the Angels.
Nope.
So, listen. I'm gonna get on my soapbox here for 2 minutes. For you teams, or for you fandoms, who support teams that never make it to the postseason, Marlins, Rays,
Well, the Rays make it to the postseason, but nothing.
Well, they don't go far, but they ain't going this year. And you know who else ain't going this year? The Boston Red Sox, because Alex Cora is a fraud of a manager, so I feel great about that. Hopefully he gets fired. The thing is that you're reliant on just like regular season play because you never see the postseason. So you can have your Randy Rosarena, who's no longer on the team, or your Wander Franco, who's no longer the team. Sorry, Andrew, just gotta do it. Or you can have your Jazz Chisholms, who are no longer on your team, and and all these other guys. I was gonna throw some other shade at my paralegal's a Braves fan, but they did win a World Series a couple years ago. They did go and to the playoffs last year. They're not gonna make it this year, I think, because of the injuries. But I'm gonna be nice. But you're so used to the regular season that you can conceptualize a postseason run, so you have to love a regular season numbers for a guy. But for me, getting into the postseason, having guys that are studs allegedly, and making millions of dollars for a long time, and during the off season, the Goofs off season, we got Jazz Chisholm, so thank you, always liked him. So that works. I need to see postseason performance. That's what now matters. And so for the Dodger fan, I do think that if for whatever reason Ohtani's credibility might get watched, they're going big on this whole 50-50 season for an outfielder, and I swear to God, it looks like they just let him get the base. I'm sorry. Every time I see the highlights, I'm like, they're not trying.
I mean, the new rules are just,
it's very flexible.
It's not Ricky Henderson doing what he's doing. Ricky Henderson will probably have like 1,000 steals by now.
And that is the reason why, out of all the changes they did, that's what annoyed me the most. I was like, I don't like it. I don't like the bases.
Yeah, it's cheapened the 40-40 season, the 50-50 season. It's like
we just want to justify big contracts,
right? Or marketing certain players, even because MLB sucks at marketing.
Yeah, So, but that's the thing. Let's see what Ohtani's legacy is the next 5. He can win all the MVPs. But if he can't be the catalyst of pushing this team, who has guys who are the catalyst to push him deep into the postseason, Mookie, Freddie, just to name a few, then what? Because if then he just becomes Aaron Judge, he can throw. I don't think Shohei's ever throwing again, to be honest with you. I don't think he's going to be a starting pitcher anymore. And that's fine, because you give him a backdoor contract. He's going to get the NL MVP. He's subject to get it every year, especially if he's pitching as well. Point being, Aaron Judge, don't care about him unless he's doing something postseason. But I forgot where we're transitioning this to. But you cared about the Panthers winning the Stanley Cup.
Yeah.
And I think you owe it to the people, the one or two people who follow, about how you felt on that grand day.
It's actually one of the reasons I left my job, because I was working the night that they won the cup, and I watched it on my computer monitor at work. And more reason as to why that decision, which I hadn't made that decision when that was happening. I made the decision the week of, because they won the cup on a Monday, and then I had a 3-city tour over the course of a week: San Antonio, Orlando, and Dallas. Now, San Antonio and Orlando was a success, but Dallas was a disaster. So much so that I got on Indeed, which is another non-sponsor, which is a perfect segue, actually.
We planned this. You guys just don't know. We planned this. Sure.
I went on Indeed and was updating my resume and submitting to places at the airport as I was waiting to come back home. So
and very long conversations with Charles.
Yes, long conversations with Charles and pretty much anybody that would listen to me, because I was not a happy camper. And I should have been. I should have been way more ecstatic. A week that started, it was an awesome week. It was, if you talk about the year of Francisco, it was the week of Francisco up until that Friday. And I just completely fell apart. So but it turned out well in the end, because if anything, the Florida Panthers inspired me to do better for myself. Because man, I gotta tell you, Charles, outside of the 2003 Florida Marlins, I think that is my favorite championship team. These 2024 Florida Panthers, they rank just a little ahead of the 2013 Miami Heat. So
I kind of love that.
Yeah. 03 Marlins, 24 Panthers, and then the 13 Miami Heat.
Because I'm gonna steal that for a second. And if Andrew was on, but the
Mm.
man's just living lavish lifestyles,
Yep.
probably eating great food and drinking
Yep.
and having great poupon with it. But it's
Actually
okay,
getting paid.
actually getting paid, man. I think about it because I was subject to 5 Yankee World Series, but the ages were different, and they won the first 4 when I was very young.
Mm.
When you think about it, 96, I was like 6 years old. I do hold special into my heart 2009 when they won the last World Series. I bought the damn hat. I got it there. The Heat, it's I appreciate, I love those things, but like I think I'll hold myself '09 as one, and then I would probably give the one that when we beat the Spurs the first time. And like when Wade won it, I was just getting into actually having a fandom. Like when he did it solo, what was it, '06?
Yeah.
So I had like watched the series because in the hard part of it, like my family didn't watch sports. My uncle, my grandfather had watched baseball, and that's it. My dad doesn't do sports or anything like that. So, and I grew up in New York in the '90s. So the subject of what I was stuck with was 2 teams: Chicago Bulls and then Charlotte Hornets. Everybody had the fit, the Mac fit. You know what I'm talking about. So everybody had it. But you just go on there and you get the television and you see the news and you see certain things, and I couldn't get into stuff like that. And I moved to Florida, and I moved to Polk County, kids, and Polk County, the Orlando Magic weren't really that great at that time period because Shaq had left. I moved to Florida in '97. Yeah, so like he was just there for a bit, but I didn't like know the whole things, and I watched what I could. And then I moved to Palm Beach, and Palm Beach is really just extension of Dade County when it comes to sports fandoms.
Yeah.
And so it was building and building and building. I remember watching the Dallas series. I saw Flash. I was like, oh man, this is all like a very big team. I like it, and going from there. But then that's a sport that I got into all of basketball to a degree. And then, we got LeBron, and LeBron was a catalyst for me to be like, this guy's generational. And he is. I still hold 5 years. I've been saying this. I think he's better than Jordan, and people want to fight me on it. I don't care. So I would say that, but 2009 is very special for me. And I don't have a hockey team, but I'm claiming Florida's Stanley Cup win. Sorry. I was the reason why. I watched them in Colorado, against Colorado, and they pitched a perfect game. God, it was so much fun. But no, I mean, the U, if they won one this year, Mario Cristobal, I'd probably cry out of surprise because I hate that man. I'm not, listen, college football, and Andrew would hear it. He could hear it, but, he had to go be popular. My energy for college football is 2 things. One, heckle until Mario Cristobal F's up. Because every game I'm like, oh, they're going to screw up the FAMU. I bet you. I don't care about Cam Ward. Mario Cristobal's going to screw it up. He can have a shirt thing and mess it up. And also heckle Colorado. And we know why. Because it's Colorado. Plain and simple. Now you're in the big leagues. And I was having a beer watching them just kind of lose Nebraska. But yeah, '09. So I would imagine this, especially, and this is what's so great for you, and even me, and me appreciating it, because being with you guys for as long as we've been doing this, almost 6 years for me with you, maybe a big hockey fan. To be beyond whatever is below casual is where I was at, and I was getting casual. But then I'm like, all right, I'm going to see the Panthers every year. I'm going to go buy this game. My nephew's got into hockey. My brother-in-law is like, I like sports. I just always found time because, whatever, but I'm just going to pick Florida. So now he's Florida Panthers getting into it. He's like liking anything Florida based for basketball. They went to a Marlins game with my niece. I'm just like, all right, this is good. This is what sports does. It connects, right? It connects and creates a community. So I can adopt being into the Florida Panthers. I won't steal the fandom into it, but I'm going to appreciate it. I'm going to root for them because I'm trying to get to know more of the league. But I was having a good time. I was watching the entire series. I think I watched a majority of their playoff series. And I think for you, it's so sweet because you got there last year unexpectedly, I would say.
Right.
And then this year, it was every move was the right move. And that's what's scary when you are on paper the perfect team. That pressure, man, and pressure builds diamonds, but some diamonds got a little blood on it. You know what I mean? Like, can you survive them? That was kind of like the concern. And then you end up doing it against a lot of teams that no one was expecting on. And, my memory's already faded out. I forgot who you played against.
Yeah. I mean, this...
It was a wild ride.
This run, I mean, they were building... This team was...
But
built
how
to
many
win.
teams have we seen build and build and build?
Yeah, this team was
The
built
Oilers,
to win.
the team of destiny,
Yeah,
the Connor McDavids.
I mean, this team was built to win this year. The entire mentality for the entire season was, we got to go back and actually win the damn thing. And I, following them, like, just the entire, like, gosh, man, my relationship with this team is a lot different because I've been on both ends of this, from the objective, like, actual reporting standpoint and a fan standpoint. And I've been behind the scenes, and I've been.
Oh wait! Also follow him on the Twitter.
Yeah.
Panthers historian,
Yeah.
Marlins historian,
Yeah.
Charles the True, F. Jojar, Dan Frijoles. I'm
Yeah.
not Rusty Sports _ Goofs. I'm not Rusty. It just
Yeah.
I didn't find a way, but I
There's
was
a
literally
segue.
replied to something. Yeah. I replied to something on yours on Twitter the other day with Dominic and that little grin, or something like that with the Marlins. So
yeah. So, and actually, I've been doing fantastic with that account since they've won the cup. And just a lot of great feelings from that. I was on talking with people and
got a lot of cool people, man.
Yeah, I've gone through a lot of things with this team, and it's always a great talking point with people. It's like, yeah, you covered the team for a few years,
but got to go on ice.
But seeing this team finally do this, given their standpoint in South Florida, given their standpoint in hockey in general, like, there's so many people that don't think the team should even exist, and yet they did what they did. And
Florida has no ice, is what they would say.
And they did it against, first, the Tampa Bay Lightning, right? The Big Brother franchise, a team that's been really our Yankees, our Red Sox. Our Yankees. They were Yankees, so our Red Sox, right? Where we hadn't won a damn thing, and the other ones with all the accolades and everything like that. And the Panthers take them out in 5, right? A gentleman's sweep. And then they go up against Boston, a team with all of the incentive to beat the Panthers again. They beat them in game 1, and the entire revenge aspect for what the Panthers did to them, just completely ruining their recent history, really. The probably the biggest choke job in NHL history outside of the Lightning in 2019. And the Panthers beating them in 7 when they had the best regular season of all time. And then the Panthers take them out in 6. And then the New York Rangers, who everybody was actually billing as the real team in the Eastern Conference. It was 1 versus 2 against the Panthers. They won the President's Trophy. They were... ESPN really wanted the New York Rangers to
coming in, by the way,
make the Stanley Cup. And especially after the New York Knicks shit the bed too against the Pacers. They needed a New York team to harp on. Stephen A. was watching the Rangers, right? And yet the Panthers ruined that. And then the
anything
NHL's...
that ruins Stephen's A-Day, I support.
The NHL's golden boy billing of Connor McDavid, McJesus, and the Oilers and the Panthers going up 3-0, and then the scary part where they lost 3 straight games in a row in very, very concerning fashion. They lost game 4 in a blowout, and it seemed like, okay, they got their one. It's going to be a gentleman's sweep. Let's go. And then they lost game 5, and I went to that game. I went to game 1 and 5. And that was very concerning. Then they lost game 6. And there was a point going into game 7, it's like, oh my God, they might actually fuck this up. 3. And then the first period happens. It's 1-1, but the Panthers looked normal again for like the first time in what was like a week and a half, right, between games 3 and 7. and then it looked like the team that had been winning every series after that. So once they got that second goal,
already.
huh?
Two with the roof pick. Football's going on, guys.
Yeah.
You
oh,
have,
that's beautiful.
Bills
Good.
versus
Good.
Dolphins. So
Good.
this is like that's why I had to interject.
Narratives.
It's like perfect on
narratives.
everything. I'm the narrative.
My narrative continues actually, but they win Game 7 and just the elation and everything. Once again, like I said, this is my second favorite team. Like the Marlins, 2003 Marlins is, I was a teenager. I went to Game 4 of the division series. Like I grew up with the team just being awful, and then suddenly one year they surprise go and win the World Series. And so it's a childhood thing for me, if you could follow my Marlins history account, right? Well, with the Panthers, it was different. It was my team as an adult.
It's also tough
growing up
to
as a man.
mobilize.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's tough to mobilize that kind of sport too that couldn't generate much past what they were doing. What, in '97? That's when they went to the Stanley Cup
96.
Finals?
Yeah.
96. So
the team was awful.
You're in a desolate wasteland. To make people understand now, that's like trying to convince somebody to be a Charlotte Bobcats fan.
Right.
Back when the Bobcats were around, or even hell, the Hornets now 7 on 8.
Hell, the Marlins now after 21 years since they've been to the World Series. So.
Yeah, but the thing is, I always have hope for the Marlins because of the location. It's Miami, and you just need the one guy. You have just been snake bitten on the management.
Horrible owners.
I'm not talking about the manager, but just like the owners,
ownership.
How it's like ownership in the same like cycle again and again you fall into. Because you've got guys, you've gotten star players.
I mean, that's what brought the Panthers out of this entire thing. If it's anything, it's an inspiration to every other franchise in any sport ever, in any place.
Yes, man.
It's just get some people that actually give a shit for at the top who are writing the checks, and everything should solve itself going forward. Guys that don't have a huge ego about it either, because there are guys that write checks but have massive egos and their teams don't do shit, right? You could say, as Bills fans, we love the Pagulas, but if you're a Sabres fan,
is the example.
You don't like the Pagulas, right? Yeah, Dan Snyder, he could write a check, but of course, cheapskate everywhere else with regards to the Redskins.
But harass people too.
Yeah, and but with the Panthers and their owners, it was something that. Something special, where it was just the perfect storm of what this franchise really needed. And I think if every other struggling franchise out there, the A's, the Marlins, the what are the teams out there?
The Guardians is going to happen.
Yeah, the Cleveland Browns, just a bunch of teams.
No, the Cleveland Browns is giving money. They just
they're giving money to sexual predators.
Wrong people to put in their pockets, too. Yeah.
Getting rid of their actual good quarterbacks. So
I mean, do you think he has the balls to have his walkout song be Marvin Gaye's "Sexual Healing"? Like, at this juncture, man, like it's just always a new thing. It feels like
I think Andrew's trying to hop in here.
South American dictator.
I could hear a quiet hello, but
hi, Andrew.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, yes, you're a bit faded.
Distant.
Slightly faded, for whatever reason.
Possibly raise the internal volume on your computer.
Or your mic. It's the mic. Unless it's outputting from your screen. I don't know if you have the external microphone. But anyways, yeah. So the Panthers won the cup, and then I bought a bunch of Stanley Cup gear. I still have some more that I gotta buy.
How was the cereal in the bowl? I want to know.
Oh, amazing, fantastic.
Yeah.
My replica Stanley Cup that's sitting above me right now on this massive desk with all my knickknacks and everything. Oh man.
Yeah. I would imagine if the Yanks won the World Series and they made shot glasses out of little wooden bats, I would just have like the whole
$550 for the Stanley Cup wrestling.
I'll buy that title belt. Y'all acted like I'm playing on that one. Money ain't got no owners, boys. Money only has spenders, as Omar said in The Wire, and that stuff holds true. That's the cure and the solution and the philosophy and the mantra of impulse buying. You ain't gonna take that when if you die, so yes, save accordingly. But if the Yankees literally win the World Series, hear me out, as they're tied up with Boston, they're probably gonna lose later. I'll buy that title belt. I'll wear that all around. I'll bring it to the office. My 2 title belts are at the office right now, and I will probably actually. Andrew, to segue you, we were talking about how for the Panthers, what that meant as was it Francisco's favorite, championship win. That would probably be my favorite championship win because all I've done for the last several years is talk smack about Aaron Boone, smack about Aaron Judge.
I'm wearing a Panthers jersey right now with the Stanley Cup patch on right now. I bought a bunch of them. I have one extra too.
He even made his own Panthers hat when I saw him, folks. It's cool.
Merch store, by the way, if anybody's looking for that on my Panthers history stuff. So, it's been great. We're at an hour here. So, Andrew, whoa, holy crap. All right, I gotta mute that because that's destroying everybody else's ears, which means I'm muting Charles. I don't know what's going on, Andrew, but your mic is I don't know what's going on. All right.
I'm back.
Yeah, I just muted you, but Andrew's mic is shot for whatever reason right now.
What did we used to say? It has to have the goofs.
It's worse. You sound like you're incredibly static right now.
He's in another dimension.
Yeah, he's in the dark place actually.
He's in the dark place.
Yeah.
Not for long though.
No, not like you sound literally like an FM radio that is like an AM radio that is not calibrated correctly to any station whatsoever. You got ham radio right now. Yeah, he's got to come back. Anyways, Charles, we're at halfway here. I already talked about a non-sponsor, but I've got so many over the course of the summer.
Okay, is this any better?
Oh, yes, that is the one.
Andrew, take the floor. Say hi to everybody.
Hi to everybody.
Okay, so Andrew, this is the episode of what have we been doing over the summer, because it's been a massive summer of change for all of us. Charles is going back to school again. I moved out of Miami, and you're a working man now.
I am a working man.
He's a working attorney, folks.
True. You were a working man, a wage slave. Not even a wage slave, but in
he's not a working man. You know what he is, boys? He's Esquire. I got a chub just saying that right now.
Yep, I got sworn in April, and now I'm working as a prosecutor in Central Florida. So don't get arrested in Seminole. Well, actually, go ahead and do it because I can't take your case. It would be a conflict of interest.
Yeah. So what do you think about Tyreek getting arrested, Andrew?
I mean, I didn't watch the body cam, but from what I've been hearing, Tyreek should not have rolled up the window. I mean, it's weird because I have to separate my personal feelings from my professional feelings when it comes to the police.
Or to Tyreek, because he's been an awful human being, and it's conflict for myself as a Dolphins fan, even though y'all know I love to hate the Dolphins. And what's the score, by the way? Tua threw a pick, but
Tua threw a pick. It was 7-0. Don't worry, I am your hater. I'm your master hater.
I have the score crawl on the bottom. I just haven't been looking at it. But anyway,
7-0. They're at Buffalo's one.
So, I mean, taking personal feelings on Tyreek aside, I do think that the police were probably a bit too aggressive with him. It takes a lot in terms of the rules to detain someone like that, and more than that, to put them to the ground. That said, and I think he admitted to this in a press conference. He said he shouldn't have rolled up the window. And that's true. I mean, technically speaking, that could be considered resisting an officer without violence. The amount of things that I've seen that are resisting officer without violence is insane, but pretty much anything that goes against an order is considered resisting. I say this not having seen the body cam, but I mean, the admin leave I think was the correct decision because
You gotta let the things die down.
yeah, and putting somebody to the floor, that's supposed to be reserved for very extreme purposes.
Like 4-on-2 kind of put into the floor. Because I watched the body cam footage. I don't know if you guys, Francisco, if you did.
Here and there, bits of it while scrolling through Twitter. But anyways, all right. So Andrew's got a fancy job. He's got fancy new paychecks. But Andrew,
what have you treated yourself to?
Exactly, because we talked about me, and I still haven't named this TV screen or this computer monitor yet. But that so far a non-sponsor. I've got several for this episode. And there's no real Andrew. Anything, any topic. It's not just sports goofs anymore. Any topic is fair game now with Goofs 2.0 here on episode 200. By the way, it finally happened as well. That was the thing.
Of course, I missed the beginning of episode 200. Great. It's when I'm working 9 to 5. I have to sometimes take care of errands after work. So.
Well, I mean,
I understand that.
Yeah, I mean, you've got like, I mean, sheesh, you got a real job now. You got some stuff. Like the
yeah,
whole
but
thing.
you guys have real jobs, so that's no excuse on my part.
Yeah, whatevs. It doesn't. I mean, sheesh. Gosh, man, I'm back at home now, so like a whole bunch of benefits to it. So it's just made my job, my life a little easier because.
A lot of it easier.
Yeah. So in any case, what have you treated yourself to? This ain't about me right
now. Honestly, not really yet.
What are you going?
Yeah. What's on the radar?
Yeah.
What's on the radar?
Yeah.
What is it? Something you said?
Just
damn,
something because I know you want to pay off bills and all that stuff, but like you want to splurge on just a little something.
I mean, I did buy a UCF polo today because we have a wear your
always a good choice.
Okay.
Exactly a good purchase.
That's true. You've wanted like sports memorabilia out there. And the Lightning won 2 cups, and you weren't able to enjoy the splendors of buying merch like I have been doing since the Panthers won the cup.
I've been keeping a list and checking it twice of
memorabilia. Would suggest a replica Stanley Cup like I do right now because I just love looking up and seeing it.
Well, see, for me, I mean, I'm debating because on one hand, yes, having a big one seems cool, but on the other hand, I feel like what I might do, and this is kind of what I've been gunning for, is getting 3 smaller ones that are not small, just like, maybe like
paperweight size.
12 to 16 inches tall. Actually, but just to each time we win a cup, get a new one. Yeah, I don't know. I think that's probably the route I'm going to be taking. I know that you can buy replica rings online.
Oh, yeah, I'm waiting for that because I'm about to spend.
So that's probably what I'm going to end up doing is, getting a miniature cup with the year on it, and then a replica ring to go along with it.
Yeah.
I mean, I will say it's interesting. now that I have an office, which is really cool to say that I have an office, um, I can finally start putting up some of the stuff that's been collecting dust in my storage unit. Um,
I haven't been able to. Yeah, I've been at this new job for like a month and a half now, and everybody keeps telling me, why haven't you decorated your office? And I mean, I haven't brought anything, and I have stuff. Maybe I'll do it today. Now you've reminded me, Andrew.
I mean, it's my room. My office is still pretty Spartan. Um, you know, Probably this weekend or maybe next. Um, I'll finally put my diploma up. I still need to get my UCF diplomas and my Supreme Court admission uh, framed, and then put those up eventually.
Would you guys be surprised if I said I don't have any of those hanging at the office?
Not in the slightest.
I got a Nightwing and Wolverine pop right now, and a Spider-Man plushie, and a
Andrew,
little
do you have
pirate,
some
like,
headphones that you
painting.
can put on? Because I'm hearing the feedback from the speakers.
Better?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, a little bit. I don't know why. Right, now I can hear myself a lot. Can you hear me?
I got the Francisco Echo.
Yeah. Do you have a headset, or are you wearing headphones?
I'm on my phone.
Oh, that's why it is. Okay. Oh, because the computer was all screwed up.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Well, anyways, let's see. What were we talking about? Charles asked a question.
Oh, just the knickknacks. So, all right, you're gonna put some stuff in there. You're gonna get your purse. You got a polo. Here's my other question, sir, regarding the purchases. Are you interested in a new television or console?
PS5 Pro just got announced.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, College
Switch
Football
games.
25 came
Switch
out.
games.
Yeah, I mean, that's a stretch
Believe
goal.
me, you can play video games while being a full-time attorney, my guy.
No,
Trust
I
me.
know I can. I just all indications are it's going to take me a few months because I feel like everything around me is it's kind of like that meme with the dog and the coffee mug
Everything's
saying
fine.
this is fine. I feel like that constantly, except it's not fine. I feel like everything is constant. Oh, you know what? Here's a better description.
We understand imposter syndrome.
Well, no. But I just thought of a better analogy. Do you remember that SpongeBob episode where the office is on fire, all the papers are flying around?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's how I feel. This I'm coming up on. I think this is maybe my 7th week, maybe my 8th week in the office. Everyone says that it takes you at minimum 3 to 4 months before you start feeling remotely comfortable. I think it's going to take me longer than that. So I'm kind of holding off on extracurricular activities until I feel like I'm not constantly on fire.
Yeah, I mean, it's understand. I mean, look, I've been at this new job, and obviously, I want to look good and all that stuff. So, and yeah, at the same time, I'm still not. I don't feel it's different, right? I've been doing this now 6 years, right? And so, I'm not as panicked or anything like that. And I think the support system is actually better than I've ever had ever before. So it's just and I'm just doing things differently now than I used to, which I guess means I'm actually improving as an attorney, which is weird. Um, but I do get the sense of just trying to get used to a new place right now, because that's where I am. That's where I am right now. I think I'm finally starting to, actually have a personality, with people and getting chemistry and everything like that. Because I mean, look, I got chocolate milkshake today at work. I mean,
I will say
it's a lot different than what I've been at.
I will say a big difference, not to make this a contest, but my whole assistant career to this point was in civil. So this is a total 180 from everything that I've done before. So it's a very steep learning curve, to say the least.
The best way to explain it to anybody who's listening: think Michael Jordan basketball, great. Then he went to go play baseball, and it was a adaptation and a change.
Okay.
Pretty much. That's a good way of putting it. Except I would never in a million years call myself a Michael Jordan of legal.
You can be, dude. You're literally like 2 months into your legal career. You could be definitely the Michael Jordan.
So
We could be talking to Judge Sedona right now.
yeah.
Not me. Definitely gonna be Francisco.
Yeah. Nah.
Maybe, I don't know.
No, I'm hoping the Panthers history and Marlins history thing takes off. But anyways, so we're at halfway point, way more than that. I've done a non-sponsor. My other non-sponsor was Indeed because I got a new job and it really helped me because I threw my resume. I was spreading my seed all over the place and it landed me back at home in West Palm. But it was simple and easy, and if anybody's looking for a job, and I didn't realize how valuable I was to other people until I actually went on Indeed and actually posted my resume and everything. It's pretty easy.
About fucking time too. Good Lord.
How many is that? Is that his first?
I got 3 for him. Remember, we
Okay.
count curse words here. We have a tally.
I'm at 4, I think. But anyways, yeah. So Indeed, promo code about fucking time. There you go. How about you guys? Anything you want to shout out? Because we're also changing the way we do non-sponsors. We find a nice segue in between, just like how the sponsors do on YouTube. They find a segue to something to do an actual sponsorship. We're gonna do the same thing. If we feel like doing a non-sponsor in the middle of an actual conversation, we'll actually do it in the middle instead of just having everything at the halfway point.
Yeah, I'll just go with one that's easy. The games I've played in the 4 months we've been gone, because I don't really remember stuff, but I'm just gonna give you a score and then why I liked it, because I still have to do my ranking. So, Yoku's Island Express, non-sponsor, play it. Got on the Switch for like cheap, $5. Beat it.
Yep.
Like 7 hours. It's an 8. Hi-Fi Rush. It's on like every console now. It was a great time.
Yep.
Microsoft, the pigs that they are, trying to close it down, and then Tango Game Works got bought, so it was very fun, kind of like Devil May Cry, but rhythm game based. 8.5. I enjoyed Outriders. I have to just say it was good time. Like you get for like $10 now on the consoles. It's simple, but sometimes you want simple, gory madness. I gave it like a 7, but the World Slayer DLC, because I had the complete edition, 7.5. Gargoyles, 7. Loved it. It was a blast fast. Alan Wake Night Springs. I didn't rate it. I just put it as fun.
True.
Because we're on that Wake train going from there. Mario Wonder, 9. I loved it, man. You were right. It was good. It was good. I have to redo it as a single component, though. Prince of Persia Lost Crown.
Oh, yeah, that's right. You did play that.
Yeah, I think I rated it too high at 8.5. I think it's an 8.
It's, Prince of Persia, Metroidvania.
Yeah, but it was good. I like the platforming more than the combat. My problem is with all kind of games, when I get all the little power-ups and stuff like that, I really just wish I had it in the beginning, just to really enjoy the experience.
Yeah, like
I
Metroid.
Yeah, I understand it's counterproductive, but still, it's good from there. But I might rechange it to an 8, just to go from there because of the time. So that's fun. Movies, Deadpool Wolverine. That was a good time. Very much loved it. Unfortunately, I know all the Marvel stuff's not going to give me that stuff that comes into it after. Sorry, it just happens. I forgot what other movie I saw in theaters, but I'm sure I've seen it. I'm behind a lot of stuff. Demon Slayer, we went hard on that. I was on the Swordsmith training village, or no, the Hashira training. I haven't seen it yet, but I was on the Swordsmith village. That was very good. Liked it. I'm trying to do Attack on Titan and finally finish it. We'll get there. I finished Bleach. I think I told you guys that. But 1,000 Year Blood War, we did get to that. We're going to Core 3 drops soon in October. Those are my non-sponsors. Food-wise, Castaways. Yay. Bush at the Hard Rock. Fantastic. Jerry Cantrell was there. Candlebox. I heard Alice in Chains covered some Jerry Cantrell. Gavin Ross also gets it. Hard Rocks. It was a good ticket buy. I appreciate them. The acoustics were good. Some non-sponsors. I just laid it all out. That's all my non-sponsors of what I can remember right now.
Oh yeah, I enjoyed some stuff over this as well. Like what did I watch? Gosh darn.
Bob G's Wings and Things, delicious. The lemon pepper's good. I don't even like lemon pepper.
I watched I watched Veep. I watched the entire series of Veep.
Is that good? I kind of want to. But
it's the first season's kind of slow, but then like season 2, you start to actually care about it. I think Julia Louis-Dreyfus gets better as she goes along with it, and the other characters also as well. So I actually did really kind of enjoy, especially like it is an election year, so it kind of it does parody and make fun of the entire political system and everything like that, and I think it's really good satire with regards to that. I watched all of Curb Your Enthusiasm as well, which I did enjoy. Larry David's really, really funny. And
a different show once Leon comes on, right?
It is, and it's I like the fact that he was able to continue it and adapt it to today's age as well. Because like you see season 1, they're talking about like a driving service, and it seemed like it was a luxury, and now we got Uber and all that stuff. So like he found a way to keep being funny along the way, so the show doesn't get stale in any way whatsoever, I think. And what else did I enjoy? I really got into the Midnight as far as music was concerned. I really like their music, so I listen to that when I skate. So there's that, and then gosh darn it, what else? Sheesh, what else did I watch? Well, those are the only two that really come to mind because I really got into those series for quite a while, and they kind of kept me afloat. Along with Last Week Tonight with John Oliver as well. I watched and Smiling Friends. I watched all of Smiling Friends, which is a funny show as well. The Cartoon Network was dead, and now it's just Adult Swim. So Smiling Friends, that's a fun show if you like weird, dumb comedy as well. Same vein as like Aqua Teen Hunger Force and that type of stuff. So
I watch a lot of wrestling.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we'll get to a
There
cage.
will not be a cage on this episode.
Oh, okay. I mean, the setup it's the same setup from last time. I didn't change that. So, in any case, because it's too classic.
There's just so much I have to cover, man. You don't understand.
My God.
I am not prepped on a segue. I will tell you, I can do the cage. I can tell you how I'll do it. Just a spoiler. WWE, AEW. That's all I'm going to keep it. I'm going to say, is it good or bad right now?
Yeah.
And that's it. We'll give a state of affairs, but I'm not going to talk about championships or matches. I'm going to say, have I been enjoying it, not enjoying it? Newsflash, I've been enjoying it.
And, yeah, that's just a...
Brother, you're going to try to get me to catch up on 4 months. I need more time.
and video games, I've just really been sticking to... I played a lot of retro NHL games because the Panthers won the Cup, and I was just recreating the Stanley Cup just by beating the Edmonton Oilers in several different NHL video games across all types of eras, from Super Nintendo's, Genesis, Sega Saturn, PlayStation 1. Frickin' the Backbone on the iPhone. I bought one of those. And it's actually a really good device. And if you have an Android or an iPhone, either one, and you get one of those for actual real gaming, that's
Tua has 2 picks, by the way.
It's beautiful. I love it, and it's fantastic. I highly. It's probably the best. It's the best clip-on or whatever controller for mobile phones. Out there. It really is. It is the best. It's the gold standard. So it's, I think they're normally like $100, but I think you can find some models for cheap, for like half off, $50. So go out and get one. RetroArch is on iPhone and Androids now, so you can actually play emulators for on those. And so I've been playing, NES, Super Nintendo, DS, and N64, PlayStation, Sega Saturn, Genesis, the whole shebang are on there too. Gosh, man, just the non-sponsor, spill out right here. Andrew, how about you? Is he dead?
That's a good question. This isn't necessarily a non-sponsor company. It's a non-sponsor
Concept.
concept.
Yeah.
Fridge magnets.
Okay.
I have gotten into collecting fridge magnets. I got. I need to get another one. They have these magnet boards that you can get at IKEA. Usually they're white, but they have them in black, which is really cool. So I have two of them. I currently have 38 fridge magnets. I will be increasing. I currently have pretty pretty varied. I'm looking at it right now. I've got a Tampa Bay Lightning back-to-back champions one. I've got a magnet from Buc-ee's, Orlando City, something from the Showcase of Citrus in Claremont, which is a really big orange orchard. UCF, obviously. Although I have been collecting other colleges. I have right now Eastern Kentucky, Utah, and Indiana. So I'm always looking to add to my collection. Yeah, I need a new one. I'm running out of room. Also, capybaras.
Tell me about these capybaras.
They are just so chill. I have
It's been a profile pic for a while.
Yeah. And in my room, I have a poster that says, "Don't worry, be Cappy." And words to live by. If you've ever seen videos of capybaras, nothing bothers those guys. Nothing at all. They like to take baths in the spas. They like to eat grass. They hang out with anybody. They are you guys know the Big Lebowski, the dude?
Yeah.
The dude.
They are the dude incarnate.
Oh, I finally saw that from start to finish this summer too. Yeah.
Oh wow. I mean,
oh, you guys know me. Also, we're bringing back Frankly Frank, Andrew. So you got movies and TV and music ideas. Throw them at me.
Although, speaking of which, I did see. Took me a while to see this for some reason, but I finally saw it. The first Batman with Michael Keaton.
my God, what is up with people behind that movie? My paralegal also has never seen it. I'm looking at him like, you're 40 years old.
Is he into that type of stuff?
Yeah, he's watched the other stuff.
Oh.
He hasn't even seen the first Rocky, but he's seen like the Rocky series besides that, and he does it with a Batman. I'm like, I think you guys just love going against the contemporary, making me crazy.
I've never watched
It's not that. It's just I've just never had a hankering.
Get that.
It's just never been a situation where it's like, oh my God, Andrew, you have to watch Batman.
Had I known, I would have. Like, it's a 7, but still.
It's very good. I'm
How
hesitant
would you ever
to
get
see...
the Flash if you never watched the original Batman?
Have you seen Batman Returns?
The Penguin, Danny DeVito.
That one will be next.
It's a Christmas movie, so you should watch it on Christmas.
It is true.
Okay. I don't know if we've discussed this before on the show, but
the Die Hard thing,
yeah. Christmas movie.
Die Hard technically takes place during Christmas. It's a Christmas movie. It might not be a Christmas theme, but it has a Christmas part.
Batman Arkham Origins is a Christmas video game.
Yeah, also super underrated game. Just saying. I don't know.
Yeah, nobody talks about it. It's like, oh, it wasn't developed by Rocksteady. I'm like, who cares?
I will say, well, sticking on the theme of movies, something that I will be treating myself to, speaking of treating, this weekend I will be going to see Twisters.
Okay. Ooh. All right.
I heard there's a good popcorn.
Sonic 3, Charles, is coming out.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. Do you want to watch it together?
Yes, yes.
That'll be
I will do this.
the bro date finally.
Oh yeah, people forget we didn't mention this. Like, I rarely do I get to see Francisco and Andrew, but now Francisco's like 50 minutes max away from me. Not really that far, maybe 40, truthfully. So like, we already have one bro day getting food. So
Have you watched Sonic 1 and 2?
I've watched one. I haven't seen two, and I tried the
Okay.
Knuckles show. It is not good.
Yeah, I know. I've heard it hasn't been good.
And then when Andrew's ever around, then we can trio it. But yeah,
The problem is I'm 2 hours from you, so
well, there's theories. There's theories.
There's a train now.
Allegedly.
that stuff's freaking expensive, though.
It is.
I mean, you make more.
There's events. That's all I'm saying. There's events.
True.
I know.
You live in
I know
Orlando. You
why-
live in an event town, so.
Yes. I will make my way down to you guys. That being said, though, there's a lot going on here. Francisco, not that you can go to this since it's happening in the middle of the week, but the Lightning and Panthers are playing a preseason game at the Kia Center.
Oh yeah, they changed the name of the arena there. That's right.
Yeah, I'm still getting used to it. I still think of it as the Amway Center.
Pyramid Scheme Center.
It's so weird that it's not the Amway Center.
The Pyramid Scheme Center. Or
I mean, it's got to be better than Kaseya Center, the FTX Center, right?
Oh God, yeah, that's
Can't forget
Yeah,
that.
somehow-
Talk about actual
True.
schemes.
Yeah.
yeah. But I'm thinking of going to that one, although I don't know if I would be able to because right now with my new sleep schedule, I turn to Pumpkin at about 10 o'clock.
Literally, guys, he's gone and said, Splatoon, and all of a sudden, 10:05, I'm ready, guy. And he's like, snoozies?
Yeah.
He's got his little, like, Winnie the
True.
Pooh, Cozy going on, or Ebenezer Scrooge. That's all I imagine. He's like,
We need to get ready for the next, I mean, it's not the last
technically starts
Splatfest, but it's the Grand Festival.
today.
But speaking of, we haven't discussed what team. Because ever since,
I'm going
you
on
know,
my favorite host. I'm going on my favorite host, which is the OG.
Wait, did you say it's
You
the
like the-
last Splatfest?
well, it's not the last
But
one.
it's the most important one.
Yeah, it's the Grand Festival, and like, if they make a last one, then we'll know it's the last one.
So we have to explain this to him.
That's right. He hasn't played the other two.
So when they typically do like a major Splatfest, like a grant that involves any of the main characters from the game, Callie Marie, Shiver Fry, and all that stuff, not who you pick for, but they're involved. It's really because they're setting something up for the next game.
Oh,
Yeah, because we're
And
technically in the last year of the Switch.
Yeah, and I have a theory of why they did past, present, and future. So I'm gonna tell you the theory, and then we're gonna talk about it. It's gonna be a short theory. I
Yeah.
think the next game is in the distant future,
Oh.
like not the wastelands, but I'm talking about like decades down the line, centuries down the line. They would work with that, not like the time flux.
So, I really like Splatoon 2. I know you didn't play it and you didn't really enjoy it as much as 1, Charles.
I mean, I put 80 hours in, but I thought it sucked on the non. Okay, I'm gonna defend it, but I'm gonna shit on it. 9. It was fine. I put 8 hours in, but they neutered the rank stuff badly because they didn't want to hurt the little kids' feelings. And you're
Right.
talking to a person along with you that competitively went for S rank. We didn't have X rank in our day, kids. So to take away the opportunity to see what your kill deaths were, unless you had the app, and then to like Clan Blitz was not good in 2. It's actually fun in 3. Not fun in 2 in my opinion.
Yeah, it's much better in 3 than it was in 2. I mean, I was gonna go with 2 because I don't know. I really enjoyed Splatoon. I mean, I went ham on it in comparison to you. It's my second most played game aside from Smash on my Switch. I think 3 might have surpassed it by this point, but I mean, I ate that thing up, and when they announced 3, I was like, oh my god. So, and really, I mean, legit, like solidified the fact that you know, man, if I might go pro in Splatoon, you know, like those types of feelings where I'm like, I'm actually legitimately good at this video game. First time ever in an online video game for me, really.
I just don't know if I could betray Callie and Marie for Pearl Marina. Like I love 3, I love 1, 2 is just there for me. Put 80 hours in mostly into. Here's the thing. 1 is the one that I put the most hours into rank mode, where I played Rainmaker, Tower Control, and Splat Zones.
Yeah.
It's not as much as Turf War. 3, I've put a lot into Turf War, but I've done a good amount of like ranked, usually with you guys. And I appreciate them at least having a competitive side, but they're still too afraid to just let it become as competitive as it was in 1, where it was just like, sink or swim. Like Andrew, you don't understand. You could lose your ranking in 1. You could get all the way to S in one night, and the next night that you play, you can fall all the way down to C, as opposed to the seasons,
Stakes
which
are
I
higher.
appreciate. I appreciate that season always resets you at C anyway, because it takes away that anxiety, but I was like an addict, man. Francisco was part of it. That's where our friendship was predicated on, where his cousin and my other best friend was on there, and we're just like knocking it out.
I mean, I don't
We'll
mind going with the OGs for this splat because I do want to be on the same team for this Grand Festival thing. They had the big run as well. I played that last weekend.
When does it start?
Today,
Hmm.
but I think it's this weekend.
Yeah. So
All right. Well, I'm gonna have to set aside some time to play then, because
I mean,
I want in on
tomorrow's
this.
Friday.
Yep.
Right? So
Tomorrow is Friday.
tomorrow's Friday. College football is Saturday, right? I mean, technically it's all these days, right? But you know, Friday would probably be your best day because you don't have all college football on Saturday, right? Because you're still doing the RCFB thing.
Kind of.
Yeah, you know, yeah, okay, yeah. And I've discussed this with Armando on the Locked On Panthers podcast. I may be able to go to Panthers games as a credential member again in
Nice.
his stead on weekend games because he lives in Orlando, but he can get media credentials. And I told him I'd be willing to get back into the game, you know. But yeah, maybe depends. But I don't mind getting back in the game. So
It would be fun if you did, because I know you enjoyed it.
well, yeah. I mean, sheesh, man. I gotta promote the side hustle, so that'll help me out with that. You know, I've been selling shirts and everything like that. So let's see, what else have we got on? Gosh, man, I've had so many little notes here. I already talked about Alienware. I talked about Indeed. We talked about the PS5 Pro. We didn't talk about Shannon Sharp's Instagram Live.
I mean, like, what does it say, really?
It's just funny.
It was. Oh man, I don't.
Was
wanna
it
say this
real?
to
Because
ruin
he
it,
was
man.
like, I saw I didn't see much.
It was the most enjoyable September 11th that we've had in a while. That's all I can say about it. That's all I can say.
Oh my goodness.
Like it was just enjoyable, and I don't watch Shannon or Ocho on Nightcap. I like him, but like I don't try to kind of like watch people. But they made me laugh, and he took it. He took it in stride, man. Like that's all I can say. He took it in stride more ways than one. And Ocho didn't bust his chops that much, but it gave me a lot of memeable material. He's funny. He's real. If anything, who I feel most bad for is obviously his lady friend, because I can only imagine how embarrassing it is. But it put some humor in a day that still has dampering for many Americans across there. There you go.
Yeah. But it's been a good week for memes. I'll tell you that much. My
That
pets
and
are still
debates,
alive,
man.
everybody. So just letting you know.
My dog has not been eaten yet. That's as political as I'll get on the show,
Yeah.
but there we go.
I'm assuming Luna's okay, Andrew.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay, she's fine too. So all our pets are alive and accounted for so far.
Yeah, she's just chilling. She's good.
So yeah, I mean over the course we were doing Hot Goof Summer as well. But I do have a personal trainer now.
Oh.
So the the bump in pay is helping out with that, right?
Hmm.
Um, and then I've got the what is it? I mean, I worked out this morning, Charles. That's what I did.
There you go. Proud of you.
Gosh darn it, man, my arms are
You
cramping.
you guys do not want to know the workout routine I was doing right before I turned 35. So I have this thing where I'm like every 2 months before a birthday or 3 months before a birthday, that I'm like, no, I can't allow myself to go into a bad kind of cycle of getting older. So then I intensify. So your boy was literally doing whatever weightlifting was being done and then doing 4 to 5 miles of cardio after. That was the insanity of it, but now I just can't get away from it. But thankfully, with the sinus infection I had for last week, I've just kind of eased up on the cardio for obvious reasons, so I don't get sick again or die. But I did hit 365 on the deadlifts, guys. I wasn't even able to do that in my heaviest weight in law school, and I was like 185. So I was like, hey, we're doing it. My back's okay. Oh, I forgot my other non-sponsor. My neck's been bad, so I bought the Dreamy Blue pillow, which is shredded memory foam. Fantastic. It's like $50. I know it's kind of steep. Just get it. It's fine. But hot goof suffer. Now we're gonna become Strong Boy Solstice. I don't know if the solstice is actually now, but I'm just gonna run with it. Or Strong Boy September then, right?
You recommend this pillow, Charles?
Yeah, the Dreamy Blue. Yeah. It's shredded memory foam. It comes with extra foam that you could put in. I have neck problems for years of just bad posture, weightlifting, all that stuff that comes in. And the goose feather pillows and the regular pillows don't work. And my massage therapist, James, love you, James. You're fantastic. Saw him yesterday. He recommended it. I believe him. He also plays games. He recommends Cyberpunk and all this other stuff and other games. I believe in this man. When he tells me, he can tell me I can, just jump off a bridge and turn out okay. I probably do it. But it was effective. It was good. Didn't hurt my neck at all. I only sleep with one. I don't need two. And that was the crazy thing. You just stuff it. But normally, if I sleep with one pillow, my head's so damn big that I'm suffocating. But if I sleep with two pillows and it's craned up a little bit and bent, but I could just sleep with perfectly fine. And I've had better sleep with it. My mother got it, so she's doing well on it. If you have neck pains or you need a pillow, give it a shot.
Okay. Andrew, anything, gosh, I mean, I've seen some of the memes from Sicko Committee about the Pack Plus, X or whatever they're calling it now.
Yeah.
The Pack 2.
Pack question mark.
Yeah, college. I'm not watching college football because the season's over for me. So
that was the perfect way to start your season, or Andrew and I at least to heckle.
Yeah. But luckily the Panthers won the cup, so nothing can hurt me.
Right now, Florida also sucks as well. So yay us. It's Andrew and I who are really trying to figure out who's the best Florida team. And Andrew, you missed this portion, but I am getting back into college football by one, just crapping on everything Mario Cristobal does, and two, crapping on everything Deion Sanders does. So hey.
So what's the pulse, Andrew, on college football?
Well, the big story, obviously, is that that just came down today, this morning. Is that the Pac-12, and yes, it is still the Pac-12. I mean, heck, the 10 has 16 teams. The Big 12 has 16 teams. Maybe the Big 10 has 18 teams. I don't even remember anymore. The Atlantic Coast Conference has 2 teams in California and 1 in Texas.
Names don't mean anything, just like sports
names don't mean anything anymore. Names don't mean anything anymore. So the Pac-12, which is the Pac-2 right now with Oregon State, Washington State, they are trying their best to salvage what is left their conference. I'll try and make it quick, but basically after the 10 other teams all fled to the Big 10 and the Big 12, those were and ACC. Oregon State, Washington State were the only ones left. They got a nice hefty payday from those teams that left. So they have a very good, very nice war chest. Now, from August 1st of this year, there's requirement that the NCAA says that conferences must have a minimum of 8 teams. So they gave the Pac-12, or they gave Oregon State and Washington State 2 years to
Find some
get
buddies.
that going, to find another 6 teams. They came to a scheduling agreement with the Mountain West Conference this season just to get some games on their schedules. But now the Pac-12 has poached 4 of the better Mountain West teams. You got Boise State, Colorado State, Fresno State, and San Diego State. Which, fun fact, all 6 teams in the Pac-12, and this is effective in 2026, they all end in state.
They what?
All of them end in state.
Oh,
Oregon
the
State,
names. Okay.
Oregon State, Washington State, Boise State, Colorado State, San Diego State, and Fresno State.
I see.
Which leads me to believe that South Dakota State and North Dakota State are coming up next, which would be fun. Those are 2 of the hot commodities in FCS right now. But anyway, so they're at 6. They need 2 more. Nobody knows who those 2 are going to be. Some believe it'll be another 2 teams from the Mountain West Conference. Some think, at least I think, that they might be trying to hold spots open for Stanford and Cal, who went over to the ACC. Because as rich as those schools are, I'm sure they would like to avoid having to travel across the country for all of their games. So we'll see. They still have a year and a half to figure things out. It's the continuation of a crazy year of conference realignment. The Conference USA, which has been the poaching boy of the American, which was poached by the Big 12, brought in Kennesaw State, Sam Houston, the past couple of seasons. They're now in the future going to be bringing in Delaware and Missouri State. They're trying their best to backfill from being poached. Which, by the way, screw Pete Garcia. He was the athletic director at FIU for quite a while. He screwed FIU majorly. If he had just done a neutral job instead of actively sabotaging the athletics department, they would be in the American right now with FAU. But they're not, thanks to his, I hesitate to even call it negligence, because it's probably more than that. It's a shame. I mean, who knows? If they turn things around, maybe they might get up there in a few years when the American is inevitably poached again. We'll see. Who knows? Although the poaching may be over, there may be no more poaching to be poached. Although, speaking of FIU, and I love this irony, the Panthers are playing at Pitbull Stadium.
Yep.
So the Panthers are getting, I think, $1.5 million a year for 5 years, with an option for another 5 after that, from Mr. Worldwide, Mr. 305.
You gotta say it with the accent, Mr. Worldwide.
I'm not even going there. So he And he gets some pretty decent stuff too. He gets to use the venue for free for X amount of days. I think 10 days in the course of a
Doesn't that
year.
make it?
Um, he has a free suite, which I guess their suite's all right. I've seen them. Um, the big thing is he's bringing some much needed visibility to the school and much needed money. Um, the money that he's giving them is, I think I calculated, is about double what their TV conference revenue is from the conference. So they're essentially making whatever the math is. They're making more money than a lot of their counterparts.
Okay.
So the hope is they can finally do something conducive with that and parlay that. There's Miami. That is a hotbed of football recruiting. The fact that they're such a bad team makes no sense whatsoever. So, and I will die on this hill. I've probably harped on this a million times. But, you know, I'm pulling for them. I hope they turn things around.
Okay. So I guess another thing I want to do is over the course of this new version of the show, I got to start collecting memes and showing them to you guys. Because now we have the technology to do that, and you guys can see the screen that I'm sharing with you. So, and, like scrolling down and seeing stuff like Matthew Kachuk's at the Dolphins game. He's drinking from Little Mini Stanley Cup. The LA Chargers signed cornerback DiCaprio Boodle to their practice squad, and it sounds like a name
The
straight out of
Grayson Waller and Austin Theory having the Edmonton Oilers, man. You can use that for anything.
Here's the Sickles Committee, the pack N+1, the pack half. I think which team was it that they were showing that was playing with water guns?
Florida State.
Was that FSU?
Yep.
Yeah, so like FSU was they were showing with the water guns, but it's like a practice thing, right? Where they're just throwing water into the faces of the players to simulate freaking
Or maybe that's a different team.
no, that was an NFL team. That was an NFL team that was throwing water into the face of a player making a catch on a kickoff to kind of simulate, making that during the rain, right? And so they're showing the Baltimore Ravens here practicing with, the hoses here, but then I got the comment why they got the water pressure set to civil rights. Oh man,
We appreciate the meme community for sure.
I do. I actually want to be able to share these guys. We can like laugh at them and react to them. I love this from the debate. Look at the NBA on TNT crew to moderate the next debate. Who's eating the pets? Who's eating the pets, Chuckster? No women in San Antonio. Oh, that's great. And then we've had a bunch of memes, but I got to start actually like retweeting these more with our account to make it more of that, because I'd like to be able to like actually look at memes and laugh at them with you guys. So it has nothing to do with sports either.
Francisco, I gotta speak to you about sports real quickly.
Yeah.
It is 24-7 Bills.
Oh, thank you. Oh, all the narratives continue this year, folks. So as the Miami Dolphins, everybody coming in, they barely beat the Jacksonville Jaguars, and Tua got paid, and now I'm sitting here with the Florida Panthers winning a Stanley Cup, and yeah, the petty dragon was satiated across the summer, especially amongst the entire hockey community, because I laid waste to mainly Toronto and Boston over the course of this summer. But I think if the Dolphins do what I expect them to do, it's gonna be a fun December. I have to say. Okay, we're at an hour and 56 now. We talked about college football. We talked about gaming and hockey and a bunch of stuff. And I put a lot of pressure on Charles about this, 4 months of wrestling condensed into 15 or 20 minutes. I don't know if he could do it, but we're about to see if he can.
I mean, I'm one of the most arrogant people you've ever met. So, like, I could do anything. Whether or not I could do it properly, well, or structured and intelligible, or versus, intelligent. Vastly different thing. But
as much as, I vicariously consume wrestling through you, and you're the reason why I get wrestling memes popping up on my feed. But I'll probably remember certain points and certain things that you're gonna mention because of course you share the memes with us on the group chat. So, I mean, when you're ready, dude, I'm ready.
Hit my fucking music. And welcome everybody. The return of your hopefully weekly TruePlex. Yes, I know it's a Thursday, not a Tuesday. Your boy is trying to better himself. He's taking business certificate classes. More on that in a second because I'm sure I could run that into wrestling. Remember, what wrestling is not fake. It's scripted. It's stage fight. It's a song. It's a dance. It's poetry in motion. It's men and women beating the holy hell out of each other, mostly for my benefit, right? It's about establishing legacies, chasing championships, getting on the Mount Rushmore of things, improving, changing, adapting, and being relevant. See, I switched it up a little bit. We're going to 2.0. It's the end of the beginning. So we're going to create something new from the cage here, going from it. But all that said, I almost forgot my own intro. That's how long we went without it. And I ain't lying. I've had a lot of like Dayquil and NyQuil in me, so we're going to keep this focused and set. But I'm still sane, baby. But he's asking me to do a tall task, guys.
Mm. Oh, the Red Sox are facing the Yankees today, too. Okay. All right.
Yeah. We're losing, I think.
It's 1-1.
It's a 1-1. Well, that means we'll probably lose if they put Clay Holmes in. So we'll probably get a home run off of them while I'm talking. The man puts a challenge of me of how am I going to do 3 months worth of wrestling. And I'm not going to catch you up on 3 months of wrestling. Because you could just watch yourself on Peacock or whatever AEW is doing on Bleacher Report if you want the pay-per-views and go from there. I'm going to tell you if I've enjoyed the last 3 months of wrestling. It's kind of like the state of affairs of the wrestling teams, of the organizations, and then some big news that we're doing for Charles in wrestling. So first and foremost, AEW or WWE? We'll do AEW because, we had Thursday. I actually watched the show yesterday. Man, it's getting good. It's getting good. It's starting to win me over again. Bryan Danielson, former Daniel Bryan WWE, is now your AEW World Champion. Yeah, he beat Swerve Strickland at All In. That was on August 25th, my birthday. I didn't pay to go watch it, but I made sure I just did that streaming stuff. So Swerve's no longer champion. Bryan Danielson is. He got choked out by his boys at the All Out pay-per-view. Kind of weird. I wasn't ready for it. Like, I knew it was going to come, but I don't think you should do. And the reason why I'm explaining to you why I have beef with it is the Blackpool Combat Club that consists of Bryan Danielson, Wheeler Yuta, Claudio. I almost said his original name, but he was Cesaro, but Claudio, and Jon Moxley. Moxley kind of left a little bit after he lost the IWGP title to Naito on Forbidden Door. That was a pay-per-view that we were off the show on. And so he was off a bit. He came back for the last couple of weeks with Marina Shafir, kind of saying that the system needs to be cleansed. There's a bunch of egos there. So you're like, are they bros or not bros? But he was there. He helped them out. But Danielson has the main belt, and then Wheeler Yuta and Claudio with Pac, who used to be part of Death Triangle, but no longer part of Death Triangle because the Lucha Bros of Rey Fenix and Pentagon Jr., Pentagon El Zero Mero, whatever the hell he was called. He got like 5 different names that could change. They're leaving to go WWE, allegedly. So, but Pac just won the Trios Championship with Claudio and Yuta, and then they betrayed Danielson. I'm like, but when all your guys have the gold, why would you like betray another guy who has a different gold? You know what I mean? It makes no sense. It makes no sense to me. But the storyline can be captivating. So I'm interested into it, but you're going to have Moxley eventually get to Danielson, but Danielson's actually going to get Nigel McGuinness. I have to kind of explain Nigel McGuinness for a little bit because you might know him as a commentator on AEW. You might know him as a commentator when he was in NXT. Nigel McGuinness is regarded as one of the top, if not the top, Ring of Honor wrestler, and he had to retire at some point, so he hasn't wrestled in a very long time. And he came back into wrestling at Wembley when they were at All In.
Oh, they're showing.
The
That's why I'm seeing like this image that this was like they back in Ring of Honor back in 2009.
correct,
These guys went at it.
yeah, and then like Danielson, him and McGuinness have a storied history. And I used to watch Ring of Honor actually. Like I haven't always been a WWE WF guy. I always kept my, I was like Wu Tang. I had to diversify my bonds and stocks. You know what I mean? So, and that's how you got to see some guys. And I never understand Twitter. Y'all are fake, but follow us on the Twitter anyway. Y'all are fake tough guys in that sense. Just let people enjoy all kinds of wrestling. You don't need tribalism. But especially I say that because I came from the WCW WWF days, so I know what it was to have parity. And not having different kind of wrestling organizations put too much into one, hevel and into one area, and that's how you got some bad wrestling. It's kind of what's happening with the PS5 Pro, right? That's why I heard somebody analogize it to, because Xbox couldn't step up their game. That's why we're getting this ridiculous rates of all this other stuff. Not true, but I can understand the sentiment. Point being, Nigel, I believe, had quit wrestling because of, I don't want to say it was like hepatitis C or something like that, but there's blading, and you shouldn't do blading in wrestling, but you got to get a little color on you to make it more magical. But there was something that caused him to have to retire for some time, and I think that's actually probably accurate what I said one of the few times, because I haven't researched Nigel in a long, long time about why he retired. But he's coming back. He's going to go face Danielson and Grand Slam. State of things at AEW and the champions. That's how I'm going to kind of like make this work. Danielson is champion. Big thumbs up. You guys know I ride that Bryan Danielson dick pretty hard. Loved him in WWE. Loved him when he was in Ring of Honor in the back in the day. Love him here. He produces matches I love. He has been a catalyst of why I have purchased pay-per-views for AEW. I think he is, if not the best generational wrestler that we have right now, one of them. Everything he does right, he matches with everybody's style. Him as your main guy, especially he had so many chances to do so. It's something that kind of made me say, yeah, this is definitely the way you kind of have to go for it and then do it. And I'm always all in, no pun intended for anybody who watches AEW, as a basis to watch it and go from there. I'm like researching Nigel McGuinness as we're doing all of that. Let's see. Yeah, hepatitis B. Sorry, I shouldn't even go into all this stuff. That's his own personal matter. I was just curious to see if my memory still worked after years of law school abuse. But I like it. The other titles are trash. That's how I'm just going to start this off. Jack Perry, TNT champion. I just can't get behind it, man. The matches or whatever. He actually went against Danielson last week. And I was like, I don't like champions who have titles going against each other. It takes away from the other guys who are supposed to be on there. I'm not crazy about it. I'm not loving it. I don't know who's going to beat him. I'm sure he's a nice guy. Everybody's a nice guy in my eyes. And here's the thing. I never call anyone a bad performer in wrestling either, because I'm not in the ring. You guys are in the ring. Shit. I'd be surprised if anybody who watches wrestling on the Twitter or anything else could actually get into the ring. You know what I mean? But I'm not for it. Young Bucks as tag champions, they've only defended belts like once, man. And I get the whole thing that they're the elite, so they're supposed to be like the corrupt powers, but I don't need these kind of stories and champions to always be more than 3 months, man. You can split it up. You don't need 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 matches or months going on. You need to kind of like emphasize. And then now they just had Will Ospreay and Kyle Fletcher win the Casino Gauntlet for the tag titles, even though Will is the international champion. More on that in a second. And you could have had Takesha and Fletcher teaming up against Young Bucks in the same stable. Because remember, AEW is very stable heavy. So that's why I have to kind of like explain it in this fashion. But instead you're going for somebody else, and it's like, and I get why they're doing it, because it's going to lead to Takesha leaving and going against the Don Callis family. Regardless, Young Bucks not feeling it, and they're great talents. I've never like poo-pooed on them before. Have I been crazy about their work in AEW? Not as much as the work they were doing in Ring of Honor and New Japan and PWG, but whatever. It's fine. It's wrestling. If I don't like it, just change the channel, right? Kazuchika Okada as Continental Classic Champion or Continental Champion, whatever they call it now. I love him. I love his style of wrestling. He helped me get into New Japan wrestling when him and Kenny Omega were feuding each other, and then him and Tanahashi and all the other guys. Him and Takesha's going to happen. That'd be good. That's all I can say about it, right? Trios Championship right now that's up in the air because Blackpool Combat Club has it, but there's that drama because it's Pac, Yuta, and Claudio. The reason why it matters is that when they betrayed Danielson, Yuta wasn't for it. And he's being held back by Pac going, no, 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 don't do this. So there's going to be some division. Let's see what happens. But the Trios Championship, I felt, has taken away from the tag team division. And Charles, what is Trios Championship? 3 versus 3. What's tag team? 2 versus 2. When you have a stable that consists of 4 people, essentially, it kind of mucks it up a little bit. A stable of 4 really should be 1 should be for the main belt, 1 should be for the mid card belt, 2 should be for the tag belts. It's simple. But you know what? Sometimes you have to just stir the pot a little bit. Women's titles. Oh, man, state of that division. Toni Storm lost to Mariah May, who I've sent you many Twitter memes and videos of. She's a doll, man. That's all I can say. She is now the AEW Women's Champion. Love her character work. It was a perfect story. It paid off. It's one of those long-term investments that happened that I was very happy with. I don't know who she'll lose that belt to. I know they'll continue her and Toni at some point. I thought Toni Storm actually did great character work, which was a 360 from, or not 360, a 180 from what she did in her time in WWE, and even how she did her first beginning points in AEW when she came as a face, then went with the Outcast, which was such a terrible faction, and now did her own thing as Timeless Toni Storm. Okay, the second women's championship, the TBS championship, held by Mercedes Moné, Mercedes Vernado, Sasha Banks, formerly known. The Britt Baker match was not good. The match with Shida was good. She has talent. I think she's trying to find her footing in being in AEW versus WWE. Because remember, left WWE, she was part of the walkouts, went to New Japan, won the women's title, won the strong. She was competing for the strong championship, tore her knee. Willow had to beat her. Now she's just been in AEW for a couple months, like 3 months or so, finding her footing, because you have to just kind of change your arc. You have to change your style. You have to change your character, even though you're still embracing what you were. You were the boss in WWE, but now you're the CEO. Great dance, everything. I appreciate her as a talent. I think she's a victim of not enough story time throughout the entire women's division to show parity, and that's going to be interesting how Tony Khan juggles it as a booker, and I'm going to explain to you guys why for a brief second. You have 2 titles in the women's division. You got several in the men's division, right? There's like 4. There's Will Ospreay, who's the international champion, and I didn't even think the title change to MJF needed to happen because that did. There's too many titles, especially for men's titles. But you can play around with it because you have like literally 4. You have like 4. You have the AEW Championship, TNT Championship, Continental Championship. You have the International Championship. Then you have the FTW Championship. And that's just 5 single titles for men's. And then you have the tag team. And then you have the trios. And that's not even counting if they do Ring of Honor. Because remember, it's owned by the same, whatever, by Tony Khan. Sounds like a lot, right? So you can play around. With the women's, hear me out. You have the AEW Women's Championship. And you have the AEW TBS Championship. And they're both heels. Bad girls. Bad guys. Are you telling the same story if you have 2 heel champions going against baby faces? You know what I mean? You should have, maybe it could have been better if we flipped it. And I understand they weren't long-standing same heels, but they see issues of it. But I enjoy AEW. I typically buy like 3 pay-per-views a year because, fellas, I just can't pay $50 each one. The boys can go broke. I had to put $2,200 in AC, $2,000 in my car's AC. I bought Bush tickets. Thankfully, I waited and got $63. I bought Bad Blood tickets. We'll get on that in a second. But I never pay full price for a video game. That's what matters first. But I enjoy it. And as long as Danielson's champion, my guy is going to have me in consideration. But that's not when I'm going to give the thumbs up. AEW gets a thumbs up for me. The thumbs up is at the Swerve Strickland Hangman Adam Page feud. Oh, that feud that started a year ago that led to the first match in WrestleMania? Yeah. That one that you had match of the year, favorite match of the year, where he drank the blood and he stapled his kid's arts on Swerve and it ended with Swerve winning. Yeah, that one. And they have a good regular match on TBS. Yeah. They had a cage match last week where it was unsanctioned, meaning the records don't count, of Hangman, who's pure evil now. He burned down the house. I said it to you guys. They're eating the dogs. They're burning the house. Versus Swerve, and Hangman got his revenge, but at what cost of his soul? When he did a knockout blow to Swerve's with a chair shot, knocked him out cold. Wrestling is a beautiful thing when you make it fit into what you want it to be. It can be sports combat, It could be a story. It could be ballet. It could just be pure flippy shit, and it's great. The story about the baby face of the company losing his soul or staring into the abyss. If anybody who knows Nietzsche, because the abyss became him,
Mhm.
right? He who fights monsters, beware because he might become a monster, came to fruition. Wrestling is super simple, you guys. You just gotta bullet point it, and the bullet points have played off. That's why you get the thumbs up. I don't need the matches themselves. I can like identify and like, yeah, I want to watch this stuff and go from there. But I have social media and I have other ways of watching it. But a story is what gets me to take my Wednesdays and my Fridays and whatever to watch. I don't watch Rampage or Collision, sorry,
I'm just
but it takes
looking
me to
at
go from there.
the memes
Him
here.
burning the house, yeah, it
Yeah,
was
well,
great.
Prince Nana eating Paige's chocolate covered berries.
I love Nana. I love Nana though. He cracks me up.
Sort of
He
breaking
cracks
the
me up.
England's one that putting his merch over Adam's sleeping baby.
But that's what led to it. So it's like, are you even a bad guy, or are you just
Mhm.
upping a bad guy? You know what
Yeah,
I mean?
and then
You know,
drinking his blood. I remember that.
oh yeah, and I know. I remember it made Andrew uncomfortable,
Yeah.
and Andrew's been a little bit more versed in the wrestling, where it's like Jesus Christ, and I loved it because I'd never seen it and it made me feel uncomfortable.
Mm.
But I get it. Like I don't know if you guys ever been in a fight, but if you, I have. Obviously, I got a big mouth, so you know, people
Yeah.
want to throw hands at me, even in my adult life. But the whole purpose of it is that you don't play fair. You play dirty. If you Harry Dresden, Jim Butcher, you guys should read those books or listen to audiobooks. Butcher, give me 12 months, man. Come on, follow him. He has a Twitter. The whole thing is like anybody who's fought a fair fight never won a fight kind of mentality. You don't fight. You got to fight dirty to win, and that's what these two have been doing for a year. This is just in a year. They have a potential to have a multi-year feud that rivals. And the way I look at it, and all my wrestling old heads might know, this is the closest I think to the brutality of Magnum TA versus Tully Blanchard, which culminated. They of course wrestled afterwards before TA's accident in an I Quit match where Magnum was going to put a stake through Tully's eye, and Tully with the mic said, "I quit" to get it off. You need that kind of brutality if you're talking about man versus man hating each other. AEW thumbs up. I'll give them that. Yeah. I won't talk about New Japan, NJPW. TNA, they're doing a cross brand with NXT, which is WWE's thing. We'll wait on that. Let's go into WWE, make it short and sweet because I've been taking a lot more time because I told you I could do it. It's just the way I want to do it. I'm going to Bad Blood. I'm super excited to a degree. My buddy Tony and his wife, they were like, all right, let's talk about this. And originally the plan was we're going to go to WrestleMania in Vegas. But I was like, listen, I got to talk to y'all about it. That's going to be expensive. Because the thing is, WrestleMania is a 2-night affair. It's a Saturday and it's a Sunday. I would have to take the entire week off. Yeah. And I'm not going to just one night. I'm going to go to both nights.
Plus, you're going to Vegas. You might as well.
And I'm going to Vegas. And right? I don't, here's the thing about me and gambling. I don't partake in it past the point of like logic. If I lose like $100, I'm not going to gamble anything. Last time I was at the Hard Rock when I was gambling 2 years ago with my boys. I was losing like $50. And I said, this is not my night. I'm going to spend 50 more bucks on the drinks for my boys. And one of my friends won like $100 on little slots. It's about having a good time. And I know there's other stuff in Vegas, but I'm just using it as like the basic example of what I would do. And they're like, do you want to do Bad Blood? It's in Georgia. It's like a 4-hour drive for them, 3-hour drive. It's like an 8-hour drive for me. But I'm like, I don't know. Because I looked at flights and I was like, the layover was crazy. And the only direct flights I could get were the most expensive ones in the over the morning. And that's coming out of Palm Beach. Go to Lauderdale. But I'm like, I think I might just drive. I haven't made that full decision yet, but I can survive it. And all I have to do is just take off at work on Friday. They're like, listen, come in Friday. Well, it's in Georgia. It's Atlanta, right? The ATL, the stadiums, or not the stadium, but it's going to be held in the Atlanta Hawks Arena. Mm-hmm. I've never really been to Georgia. I've driven through it. And I'm like, you give me a compelling argument. I'm going to hear this out because it depended on the card. And the card of Bad Blood, and we're a month in advance of speaking about it, but I can give you a few
Got it on the screen here.
Thank you. You're going to get CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre in Hell in a Cell, which the feud's gotten better, but this was stuff that was building up since January at the Royal Rumble, which I went to. Punk tore his triceps. I'm not going to give you guys the full extent of it because the cage, when it becomes regular, I can actually hone in on it. But it's been a well-developed feud. Yes, I understand the concept of the bracelet is stupid, but I think we're just nitpicking here. It's just two guys don't like each other. They don't like each other. That's it. That's all you need to know. If you keep wrestling simple, it's going to be the most enjoyable. You know, we don't look at Taco Bell for the ingredients. We talk about Taco Bell for the price and the convenience and the taste. That's how I'm viewing this. And we have that. We have Rhea Ripley versus Liv Morgan at the moment. I think we're getting Sammy versus Gunther part 2. Technically, it's part 3, but you know, part 2 of this whole year because remember, Sammy beat Gunther for the IC belts. Gunther won the World Heavyweight Championship at SummerSlam. It happened. You know, I've been riding that man for like 5 years now.
Yeah.
I will tell you about SummerSlam. I had to watch it again the next day. That's how inebriated I possibly was. I went to go hang out with my friend, and we split a bottle of Hennessy, and I remember half the stuff. It was a great time. It was a fantastic time. And SummerSlam, both, you know, in the vibing mode and also sober, was actually pretty great. It wasn't bad. It was good. Hunter always has a difficulty with SummerSlam, you guys. So I was happy to see that there was a better result. The pay per view that last passed was damn, you know, because I didn't structure it. But the last match I had was Bash in Berlin. They were in Germany, and the best match tonight was actually Cody and Kevin Owens. But Gunther and Randy was good. But Bad Blood, they're gonna have Finn versus Damian Priest. I'm interested to see if they're gonna make that into a stipulated match. But everything, when wrestling's simple and predictable, what you're getting in the matches, it can still be good. You never change Othello. You know what I mean? You never change Romeo and Juliet. You don't want them to kind of like survive. Let them hit the beats, and it depends on the performances of the actors. Because wrestling recycles from other wrestling stories. There might be different kind of wrestling styles and stuff like that, but there's some basics to it. One day I'll talk to you guys about storylines and how that's like overinterpreted on story in a television concept versus what's actually happening in the ring work. But that's not today. Bad Blood, I'm interested into it. We're in the lower bowl section. We're not on the floor. Royal Rumble, I had to be there. It was a big four. And I was talking to Derek. He's like, man, we could have been at Raw or we could have been at SmackDown because they were in Orlando a couple weeks ago. I'm like, listen, we're beyond that now. I'm beyond that. I can't do it anymore. I've gone to house shows. I've gone to live events, but now I've gone to pay-per-views, guys. I've been to big pay-per-views. And I think what I'm going to do, anything with WWE. And here's the thing. I'll go to an AEW show that's Dynamite in Lauderdale, or I'll go to Orlando. That's fine, because I haven't been to an AEW show. They have World's End in Orlando in December. And that's kind of tight, man, because you know how expensive December is going to be for me? Christmas, birthdays, stuff like that. I'm like, my own vacation, because I always go on like one of the vacations in December, but it's possible. Like I'm actually intrigued to do that. One of my other friends, she's a big wrestling fan, more into WWE, and she like had proposed the idea. I'm like, maybe I'll talk to you. But that one I would kind of go for a high rise a little bit. But this one we're going to be in lower bowl section. It was reasonable ticket prices. Actually, the tickets that you would probably pay for a football game. So we're going to see that there. But let me break it down to you. I'm not going to talk to you about champions on this show. I can do that for next week. But what I've been watching for WWE. I've been watching the pay-per-views. The pay-per-views have been pretty good. A B. Like, I don't want to overhype and say that Hunter has been so much superior than Vince since he's taken over fully. He's been marginally better, but I've at least enjoyed the pay-per-views and I've hated it. I know there's matches I don't want to watch. I could do better. Hunter, from my lips to your ears, you got to at least make the pay-per-view matches 6 or 7. You're doing 5 matches per show. I understand that you're working on ad revenue here and all that fun jazz, but like 5 matches is not enough when you have 2 brands of a main roster to go with. Come on, man. I need you to do more here. 6 or 7. Just give me 6 and then on a big show, give me a 7. I'm happy. Give me 8 every now and then. Make it work. There's a sweet spot that we can just touch a little bit. Raw's been good. SmackDown's the weaker show. SmackDown is no longer on Fox. Starting tomorrow, it's going to be on USA. So I might watch SmackDown now because I don't have Fox. And, you know, they're going to have more movability with some of the stuff that they can do on USA versus Fox. So that's interesting. Maybe more cursing, maybe some blood. Papa is intrigued. You know what I mean? Netflix is going to have Raw starting in 2025. So I expect cursing, blood, everything. Just don't show me genitalia and I'm happy. You know what I mean? Like, think of the children, right? But Raw, I've watched in spurts of it, because there was no football. Now, because Monday Night Football has had a trash-ass schedule, I would, like they did last year. This year I looked at what the games are going to be. I don't know if I want to watch it. I might go for more Raw, but it's a good heater. I think both companies are good. I think we delude ourselves and thinking one's better than the other. It's just what you want to do, but I'm a fan of both. I have been following AEW since it started. You guys know this. I watched the first episode. I bought a couple of pay-per-views. You want to have that. You want to have diversity. You don't get that in sports because of the fact that, like, it's tough because it's like a monopoly. You're not going to have an alternative to the NFL. Sorry, Rock. No one's going to watch your little XFL, USFL combo. I forgot what it's called. You know, in basketball, the most, like, diversity that we've had in competition was actually watching the Olympics, go Team USA, right?
Oh, yeah,
but,
that
like,
happened.
no one's watching. Precisely. No one's watching the European League of Basketball or anything else. It's true. It's true. I'm not. And baseball, it's the same comparison like the World Series Classics or anything of that nature. But we're not doing more than that. But when remember in wrestling, you shouldn't support the company. You should support the wrestler. Ricochet left WWE. He wanted to go to AEW. He left. He was gone, and we loved Ricochet. You know, he might not be the best on the mic, but I don't. It's okay. I'll just change the channel on his mic, and his ring work impeccable. You want to see him succeed. Go over. Moxley was once Dean Ambrose in WWE. Now he's over there in AEW doing some stuff. People are jumping ship from AEW to WWE, right? You know, sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. We're gonna see. The big rumor right now is Motor City Machine Guns is going to be going to WB. I want to see what happens with that. They have been, it's, you know, they have been, it's Chris Sabin and then Alex Shelley. They have been just a fantastic tag team from Ring of Honor to TNA to everything else. So let's see if they can actually be utilized well in WWE. Stephanie Becker from CMLL, which is a wrestling organization in Mexico. She also did some New Japan stuff. She's coming over to WWE. The NXT is stacking up. I haven't talked about them in a second, but Raw's better. SmackDown's been meh. I don't watch it, but maybe I'll chance. NXT's been okay. I typically kind of just like that's the one I Twitter the most. Like I just see what the Twitter feed is, and then I'll watch the pay-per-views when I can. People that will give you the thumbs up on over in NXT. Roxanne Perez, I'm gonna give her a thumbs up on. Julia, she made her debut last week and had her in-ring debut this week. Big fan of her. I've sent you guys stuff on her. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna watch that because you know she's a fantastic performer. She has a stiff, strong style from her days in Stardom. Her English is actually very good, which I think is a problem whenever they bring anybody who's out from America into the WWE. They don't know how to capitalize on that. So you want to see people succeed. If they get Motor City Machine Guns, that'd be good too. But you know, we mentioned Roxanne Obafemi. He's a wrestler, as you know, some of the people on Twitter say, like Humble Wrestling would go from there and mention. But he is actually legitimately fantastic. Ethan Page, who is in AEW, is now the NXT champion. I forgot to mention that. He came on, won it quickly. There you go. Trick Williams is doing well. Wrestling is good when you follow the talent and you just stop making a pissing match between everything. But I've been happy. I've actually, guys, I can say I've been well fed for a while. This is probably the most well fed I've been from both brands since we've been doing this show. Because you know what, almost going on 6 years, those Vince years were terrible. I mean, there was always something I had to say, always something. And then with AEW, there was always like, I'm almost there, but you couldn't get me to that moment until I would say the last year or so. And it wasn't even because like the MJF feud when he had the AEW championship that could have been handled better, but victim of circumstances. But there were side stories that made me invested, obviously, like with Swerve and Hangman. And then even thing with Danielson. Look, they got me to buy Forbidden Door when I was told I was getting Okada versus Danielson. The match was just average at best. The New Japan match was much better. Wrestling is good. And the thing of why some people might say, hey, Charles, why do you watch wrestling? Same reason why you decide to watch 10 hours of college football or professional football all day. It's a hobby, it's an investment, it's enjoyable. And, it is one of those things, and I've mentioned this before, but I always mention again, it's something I can revisit and watch. Can I really go back? Am I going to really go back and rewatch Miami versus Florida from this year in 2-3 years from now? Absolutely not. I'm not even going to think about highlights. Cam Ward, who is he in about 12 years, right? Hope he does well. Hope he has a good career. But that's sometimes how it is with certain sports. Men and women who appreciate sports have a great capacity of remembering special players from long ago. Juan Pierre, right? You think about the MLB, or you think about, Steve Smith, but not that Steve Smith, but the one who played for the Giants, right? We have that trend, but you don't want to revisit highlights of people. I don't want to watch Jerry Rice videos, right? I'm not going to go watch Roger Clemens strike somebody out in a Yankees uniform. I'm not going to go watch Michael Jordan highlights. Maybe. I don't know. They always show in a dunk contest, right? But with wrestling, damn it, I might watch Magnum TA versus Tully Blanchard in that quit match. Damn it, I might watch Halloween Havoc 97, which I still think that's like my favorite memory of the cage on the show when we talked about it, and I saw it and I just knew with Rey Mysterio versus Eddie Guerrero. Damn it, I still might watch, and I think I am going to watch Walter before he became Gunther versus Ciampa at TakeOver Stand and Deliver. It was one of the takeovers. Or, damn it, I just might watch Malachi Black, who was Malachi Black in AEW, when he was Aleister Black in NXT versus Johnny Gargano, or him versus Velveteen Dream, or anything he did in the NXT Gold Run. It was just so good. Man, like, I think one of the biggest regrets I didn't get Aleister versus Gunther, who was Walter at that time. Wrestling has a replayability, kind of like a very good video game. And let me tell you something about wrestling. This is the prime example. When you have something great, they will give you the sequels and greatest hits. That's how we got Hangman and Swerve. This is the comparison. Last of Us, PS3, remastered on PS4, given a PS5 remaster and a remake. Brother, that is Swerve Hangman Part 1, Swerve Hangman Part 2, Swerve Hangman Part 3, because when it's good, it's good. But when it's great, it's memorable. And that's all I'm going to give you this week on the cage.
Okay. All right. Well, I think that's it for us. The Dolphins are losing at the half, and I'm going to enjoy the rest of that, especially if they lose, because then it'll make the rest of my week a lot better, because it's and not only it'll be a long week too, so people are going to stew in it for quite a bit. So I can't wait.
Wait, one more.
Yeah.
I play Aaron Rodgers this week. This is the all or nothing. This is the all or nothing. He lost in his premiere. He looked terrible. And I have people trying to tell me he looked good. And for the man that got hyped only hitting 156 yards, and here's the thing, our offense is atrocious. That defense is nasty. Mm-hmm. This is the all or nothing. So, friends of Sports Goofs, imagine what the chat is going to look like
Sunday.
If we beat Aaron Rodgers or we lose to Aaron Rodgers. Because this is probably going to be the most national viewing that we get. I don't know for prime time. I'm going to verify that real quick right now for the basis of the show. We get it's a Sunday game at 1. It's not special at all. Okay. But for me, it's the most important game of the season because I got 6 years of value and trash talking built into this.
Mm-hmm. Okay, something to look forward to, and we'll see what we do in the meantime. But that's it for me, Charles and Andrew. Bye, everybody.
Take care.